Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. I hope you are doing very well. It's been just over 24 hours since we were, well actually it's probably been it's been under 24 hours since we were last streaming. But yeah, welcome, thank you for coming along today. The plan for today is we're going to take the brand new Aerosoft CRJ 700 for a flight from here in Jersey up to Belfast City Airport. A made up route, I think. I don't know if this is ever done. But yeah, it's been kindly provided by Aerosoft for us to take a look at. A review coming in the near future, certainly. But today we're going to just do a flight with it and see what we get up to. It's obviously the first detailed airliner payware add-on, I would say, for Microsoft Flight Simulator. The first one to come out, one of the first aircraft. I mean, there are a few aircraft out, but not very many, and certainly no airliners. So it'd be interesting to see what it is like. We are parked up here in Jersey. We've got some lovely freeware scenery here using Paddy's Aer Lingus livery. This was the first livery I streamed in Microsoft Flight Simulator, funnily enough, after Paddy sent it through to me. This one is sort of a retro style livery that was on the back 111s at the time. So I did use this on my 320 NEO for the first ever stream in Microsoft Flight Simulator a little while back. So we are sat here cold and dark on the stand in Jersey. I'll be on VATSIM, so there'll be live air traffic control, and there'll be other people flying along with us. You can see there's a couple over there. There seems to at least two. That's Airbus giving birth to a little Bonanza, and there's a few others. So yeah, I'm excited for it. It's an interesting airplane. It's really different. I underestimated how different it was. It is really different, and it's going to be a fascinating experiment to sort of try and muddle our way through it. And yeah, we'll talk about things as we go. So do please bear with me today. I am learning the airplane still, trying to work out some of the flows and systems. This will not be a tutorial or anything like that. This is purely going to be us giving it a flight, and I'm going to do it from cold and dark so you guys can see, you know, what this add-on comes with and what sort of things we can expect. Oh, there's a nice shot with the sun coming in underneath the Airbus behind there. Yeah, lovely. As ever, the graphics in Microsoft Flight Simulator always impressing me. So we've got live weather and everything like that. Right, jumping into the chats, and I would like to say hello to you all. Thanks for coming along. Checkpoint, good to see you. Mark as well. Victor Tango, thanks for coming and moderating. Ryan G, thanks. It is a bit of late for St. Patrick's Day, but it is indeed. Yeah, I suppose we sort of just about qualify for that. Stuart, Sarah Bellamy, Mark, if I didn't say so. Joseph Mitchell, good to see you as well. Adam, C. Gonzalez, Ian, Ed Haslam, good to see you again, Ed. Leonardo, hope you're doing well. Flighterer, Matt Olson, Ethan's Aviation, grab your seat. Yeah, indeed. We've got about, we're taking about 60 passengers on this one. Not a very big cabin, and even smaller cargo hold. We can fit about, I don't know, one or two there, and someone can lie down in that cargo hold if they so fancy it. But yeah, great to see you. Thanks for coming along. Sky173, hello Van der Veen. Good to see you as always. AC455, Gruxon, Van Raj. I hope you're all doing well. And Anthony, Ralph Sky, Perian, Rusty, Dana J. Good to see you again. Russ, Jacob. I think a few new names today. Tom C, Miempa, Klaus, Van Raj, if I didn't say already, Sean, First Officer Jaden, hope you're doing very well. Good to see you again, Buxter, Gruxan, and Sam. Right, yeah, hello to you guys. Oh, and Toga, there you go, I see Toga. Now, sorry if I miss anyone else, landing gear 001, for example, sorry. Thanks for coming along, and good to see you guys here. So, yeah, there's the plan for today. Lovely weather. We might change the time. It's a bit gloomy to start. We might start winding back the clocks a little bit. So yeah, as I'm having fun whizzing around the drone, I could fly the drone around in Microsoft Flight Simulator for a few hours, I'm sure. I enjoy it so much. It just looks so lovely. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Right, let's jump in. Let's forget that drone. Let's jump into our cockpit. So this is the cockpit set up in cold and dark, which is how I've got it set up to load. It's taken me a while to get anywhere with this airplane. It really is. And I say that because it's just so many things to get your head around in terms of differences and so on. So as ever, do please let me know how the audio goes. Victor Tango says, I'm just clearing the route in the 319 just in case there's debris along the way. Yeah, excellent. So iPad over here, you click it to turn it on, which I've already done, and then I've got cold and dark set as a default state, which I didn't in my video. I have two videos on the channel about this. I've got my first flight in it. If you haven't seen that, I went up last night, and I've also done a little tutorial for those of you using the Thrustmaster TCA throttles, because it's not very obvious how you need to set those up. Yeah, Gruxan says £40 seems a lot for a plane. It is a lot. So it's up to you guys what you think of it. Here it is, cold and dark, you know, with the nice CRT. I really think they've captured that off old school CRT screen effect really well. Ollie says, hi, can't fly along today. We'll only be able to watch for 40 minutes. Oh, well, thanks for coming, Ollie, anyway. Simon Forrester, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Hope you're doing well. Flight Retro says, lovely to see you fly out of where I live. Excellent. Yeah, Jersey's not featured before. Right, so yeah, Cold and Dark is where we're going to start off today, and I'm going to sort of muddle my way through. But here we go. Let's open up the passenger door. You just click it. The guardrails can come up, which says up. Now, I don't, not to get on to criticisms too quickly, but I don't like the way it's very hard to see if these are open or closed. Closed, open, it just changes the word. I know that sounds obvious, but it would be nice if it was sort of red or something. The fly-by-wire team have done their own version of this, which I think on the 320 works really well. But yeah, we can bring a ground cart, which will actually bring a vehicle over usually. Oh no! Ah! I haven't seen that before. Oh god. Well, maybe okay, let's forget the ground cart. That's going to dent the front of our aeroplane before we even get started, possibly to do with the custom scenery I'm using. So yeah, that's definitely not Aerosoft's fault. It does work. Cargo door, forward cargo door, which is underneath. Wheel chocks are in place, cabin lights, and guardrail looks like it should be up. Right, so let's have a quick look outside. Now this is more how we expect to find the airplane. Oh, there's that focus. So got the chocks in place, got the nice air stairs here. Really handy having these, saves you a lot of time when you can just drop the door and that's it. The stairs are in place, all looking a bit scruffy as they would. And then that leads you into the cabin. And there is, of course, a fully modelled cabin. There you go. I might have to turn off the autofocus. I like it for lots of reasons, but sadly not working here. Then we got this little cargo door underneath, which is really quite amusing. I didn't know that was there. But there we go. One there, and the other one right beneath the engine. Bit larger. So, there you go. They're all open. Paddy's done a great job on this livery, of course. Really captures it. Some nice green antennas as well, which I do like. And I think there's a service door on the other side. Not sure if we opened it. That ground cart is really, really not having fun today. But yeah, there we go. So that's all modelled, which is nice. So let's leave that as it is. That's sort of the airplane set up. And what we can do, by the way, options, you can change loads of things here. So I'm going to put that... I put that to, let's leave it at low. Yeah, so that's all as it is. There's our checklist, but these are checklists to do after flows. These are very much real checklists. So I'm not going to, you can't fly the airplane by reading this. It expects you to have done the flows. This isn't a procedure. This is a checklist, literally. So it's not as good as what they give you. They give you loads of documentation. I've got that here, which does sort of go through it bit by bit. We are nearly 40k. Long haul stream is not currently planned, but it is on the way. Hello to Enrique from Peru. Excellent. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, that ground crew guy is having a bit of fun. Right. So that is going to keep doing that. Oh well, it's not. It seems to be affecting us too much. Let me make it daylight. It is a bit gloomy. I want a bit of light in here for you guys. There we go. Okay, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to check all the circuit breakers and so on. I mean, there's obviously, you can get as realistic as you want if you want to start reading through all of that. Then you're going to come in here. You want to check the nose wheel steering disconnect switch is off, which is down here. Now that is really important in this style of airplane. I flew an airplane similar shape to this, but not a jet turboprop. You can probably guess what it is by now. But that had the same problem where on the Airbus, the ground crew will disconnect the nose wheel steering with a little pin that goes into that nose wheel. But we don't have that feature on these low nose aircraft. Typically it's turned off by the pilots, so it's very important it's off, because if we power on and the hydraulic pumps power on, it will twist the nose wheel to center. It could damage the truck, and if you try and push back with hydraulic pressure, i.e. you've started your engines and the hydraulic pumps are running, and your nose wheel steering is on, then it will force the nose wheel straight, and the tug, it will damage something basically. So yeah, got to be a little bit careful with that. So anyway, nose wheel steering is off. Hydraulic pumps should all be off. They are strangely up here, and even stranger, in the middle position is all off. There's on and auto. We're going to talk about those as we go. They're a bit strange, but quite interesting, certainly. Mike is not able to fly along today as flying 737-200 from Khartoum to Addis Ababa. Excellent. Matteo Chewy, thanks for coming along and moderating. There you go. A few people have said, without saying, you said -8 Delta. There you go, guys. So hydraulic pumps are off. Landing and lever is down. But the flight spoiler lever retracted. That's this one here. Now, there's a whole mess going on between the flight spoilers and the ground lift dumping, which we'll talk about a bit. I've got to learn more. Slats flaps lever set up to 0. Very sort of ergonomic flap lever here, very hidden out the way so you can't press it, which I think is really funny. This is hidden so well behind these sort of panels, but the IRS selectors are sat here as rotary knobs right next to the parking brake. So that does amuse me. But anyway, there we go. Radar is... Oh, see, it's really easy to accidentally scroll wheel on things. You've got to be very careful where your mouse is, because all these buttons do work. So you do have to be careful, because everything you go over, you see that everything actually does something. It's really impressive. Anyway, weather radar is here and it is off. ADG manual release stowed. That's the RAT. We know it as the ram air turbine, but every manufacturer has to change the name of a few things. It does work. I've had it deployed accidentally by me. So there we go. Emergency flap switch to normal, which it is over there. Battery master switch can now come on. So we've checked the airplane's safe to turn on. Now we're going to put the battery master on. Now the electrical panel is up here in the corner. Dash 8 is very similar actually. And there we go. You get that funny noise, and it's powered up a little bit. But we're going to go onto the APU, because that GPU is absolutely had enough of his day today. First Officer Jaden, I have not tried the A330 yet. Right, battery master switch on, APU on off. Right, now it took me ages to work out the APU. These switches, for those of you, I know some people are, I was one of them, was struggling with this airplane when it first launched, because I felt like things weren't working, when actually it was because I didn't know what I was doing with a lot of things. So we're going to press power like that, and it doesn't show us anything. We don't get any light or anything like that, but on this screen it brings up the APU info, RPM and EGT, and it says APU door open. You know, it's really bizarre. Like, there's no light up here. It's just a push button. If I press it again, it will depower it and the door closes. You know, it's bizarre that there's no indication up here, and I don't know if the real plane would have it or not, to be honest with you. But anyway, we're going to press start, and at least the start light comes on up there, and then we'll see the RPM. So let's get that APU on. We don't want to sit on batteries. Ed Haslam, thank you for your $2.99 donation. Really appreciate it. Very kind. Ed says, looking forward to this one and flying along too. Excellent, Ed. I hope to see you in the air. We'll see you soon. But thanks for coming along, and thank you very much for your kind donation and supporting the channel, as always, Ed. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, very kind of you. So that starts up. Quite a quick start up on the APU. We can jump outside, and Aerosoft have done the 3D sound modeling, same as fly-by-wire. So you can hear the APU. There's that little door, by the way, all modeled. Pretty cool. No de-icing fluid in this area. If you do, if de-icing fluid goes in there, it'll go into the APU, and then if you're using the APU to ventilate the cabin, it could get sent into the cabin as sort of fumes. But there we go. APU up and running. Good stuff. Right. Carrying on. LAT electrics as required. So that's it. We've got APU available, and you'll see everything's come to life now. It's no longer sitting on batteries. So IRSs can go to nav. I've already complained about their location. I'm not sure why they're where they are, but that's where they are. So they're on nav, and they will align. I've set it to align pretty much instantly. Emergency equipment checked, so you check all your other stuff on board, gear pins and safety pins, documents, and now hydraulic 3A pump on off. So this is a little test. So we have an ECAM panel. I press hydraulics. It's not ECAM, obviously. We get a similar idea though. So here's our pumps. We've got 1A, 2A, which are the engine-driven pumps. Then we've got 1B, 2B, which is the electric pumps. So you've got two ways to power the hydraulic system. It's pretty good, actually. It's a very serious set of hydraulics. We've got 3A and 3B. So the third system is only powered by electric pumps, as far as I can tell, 3A and 3B. Now we need to run the 3A system and check that it works, because in normal position, the engine pumps are in auto, the 3B is in auto, but the 3A would sit on. Is that right? Have I got that right? And now we're pressurizing the middle system using 3A. There you go. So you put that on and off and do a little check. So yeah, strange hydraulic thing. Matthews says, I see a lot of these streams and like 320 Sim Pilot a lot. Nice style, nice speed. Thank you very much. Really kind of you. Thanks so much, Matthews. If that is who I think it is, that would be well, I'd be honoured if the Aerosoft developer has come along to our stream. But yeah, that is really nice to come along and say so. Thanks so much. And yeah, we are working our way through it. So we will see how we manage with this with this airplane before I embarrass myself now. But there we go. So thanks for coming along, Matthews, and thanks for all your work and bringing this out. So yeah, let's see where we get to. So that's the pressure, and then it reduces down again. And again, the definitive tutorials on this are going to be the dude's videos, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen. And now we can do FMS initialization. So this is, I'm going to be very lazy here. So this has got every page working. It's really remarkable. But if we go to index, posinit, we can start off as we would expect. You can also check the database. It did come with no, I've lost it already. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have pressed everything. status. Yeah, there it is the same. So it has a database you see until the 24th of March. So it is actually a valid database, and I think there'll be a way to update this later. It is. Thanks very much, Matthews, and I'm really sorry if I get your name wrong. But thanks for coming along. Right, so we've got the active database. So we're going to go to init. So I can go to index, pos init. We are starting at Jersey, Echo Golf, Juliet, Juliet. Oh, there's a warning. What have we done wrong? That was probably the hydraulic system finally keeling over again. So yeah, we don't want anything powered up. And we are at gate. I've forgotten the name now. If this scenery, I don't think it shows. That's still not sure. That truck is still unhappy. I think it's a custom scenery. He's put it on that bar. But what we're going to do is I'm going to steal the airport reference position and put it there. We're going to have GPS, and just like the Airbus, it's exactly the same. When you go to take off and we press the little toga button up here is what I'm going to use. They've added a click point for it. That's just a screw in real life. It will update the position to where we are using the GPS, which is exactly like the Airbus. So you can put in your actual stand position to be more accurate. Now we'll go, I think that's all we need to do actually, just initialize. Then you go and do your walkarounds and so on, and then originating checks. Very similar. This mask is identical to the Airbus mask. You can press that, you get the flashing disc. You can press this, and that's like the emergency overflow. It chucks oxygen in. Matthew says, I'm just the project manager. I can't code. Hello world. There we go. Well, yeah, I think Hans was the lead developer on this anyway. But yeah, good evening. Do the wipers work? The wipers do work, but we won't run them just yet. We'll save those in flight. You don't want to use those on a dry windscreen. So yeah. But right, that GPU is going to be going all day. So audio warning panel check, electrical power panel check. So this is sort of, we get into these flows. So you'd run through a flow on the overhead panel, and that's where I'm lacking in knowledge at the moment. I did watch the dude's tutorials, but I'm struggling to remember everything. I'm going to have to absorb them a few more times. So DC on, battery master on, generators in auto. I like the auto position. Everything with the name auto does well with me, as you know, being a lazy pilot. You can test your FireX monitor. So external lights, these all go forwards. This is like a Boeing, these switches. Forwards is on, backwards is off, the opposite of Airbus. So nav lights can go on. We'll have the logo lights on. I think that would do for now. Up here, fuel pumps. I think there's no reason to have those off at the moment, so I'm going to turn them on. They need to be on for engine start. Bleed air, normal. Lots of this stuff is pretty self-managing. It looks different to what we're used to on the Airbus and Boeing. I mean, it's a little bit like the 737. I'm not a fan of this start of switch because it's hard to tell which way it's pointing at a glance, whereas these push buttons with lights are much easier, so I'm a big fan of those. But there we go. And the hydraulic panel checked. These can now go auto and on, I believe. So auto, there you go, auto, on, auto, auto. So they're all forward, even though forward is actually doing different things. But the configuration now is engine-driven pumps and the electric pump for the third system. So we have some hydraulics out there now, so we have to be a little bit careful with that. ELT set is in arm reset. Air conditioning panel now is up here. That is checked. We can put in our elevation for Belfast City. Which is something I should have had ready to go, certainly. But we can also do that in flight. I know that my understanding is some people may even put the return airfield's elevation in. But Belfast City is pretty much at sea level. You can actually see that. If I go, and it's important to remember this, you go back to stats, not primary, because that gives you a repeat on your engine screens here. But you go to stats, and there we go. And then I can see landing elevation set to 40. I need to reconfirm that once we get going. Right. Right, so that is that. Otherwise, apparently the manual rate you leave at the minimum. Air conditioning packs are both off. I'm going to turn them on. Reset fan on. And we can leave the rest as it is. I'm going to put the windshield heat to low. Again, Airbus has it always on. I don't know why you wouldn't. Sounds like by turning the packs on, the bleed air has come on its own, which is nice. And let's get some backlighting on. Love some backlighting. Passenger signs are in off at the moment. We'll have no smoking on. And we need to get our fuel on board. So let's go and do that. So that's on the fueling panel over here. So let's power it up, which is, if I get that right, I did manage before, and I'm sure it was a scroll. What am I supposed to do with that? There is a way to do it. There we go. Scroll. I thought so. I understand there may be some internet issues. Let me know how it's going. If you guys are having any problems at your end. I think it's all right. YouTube's giving me a warning that there's not enough data, but it should be fine. Anyway, for the fuel today, we need 4.4. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to actually top up a bit more. So I can just wind this up. I'm going to let's take 5 tons of fuel, just in case. So 5. Oh no, let's go down. There you go. Okay, and then we just go to on, and the valves open, and in comes the fuel. Having a fueling panel here is quite good fun. I've not seen that before. Even the Dash 8 had it out on the engine. The Airbus has it underneath the wing, mostly for the fueler to do. So there we go, and it fuels on its own, so that's all very nice. So that is good for us. So once that's done, we can put the passenger signs on, and I think we are getting around to finishing up with our setup up there. Emergency light, standby compass, nozzle steering off. Yeah, well, we did check that earlier. Clock set, instrument panels check. We'll set those up in a minute. Right, upper pedestal now. We've got to come down here. So again, anti-skid we want on. Landing gear overheat, they're down there. Engines are running on N1 for synchronization. Not entirely sure what that does. I suppose it's just hidden in the background in the Airbus. It just does these things. Status 2 keeps buffering. Okay. Fingers crossed it keeps working for you guys. Yeah. Right. Any questions, guys? I'll be definitely answering them as we get going. But for now, we'll just be getting on with the setup because as I chose to do it cold and dark for the challenge. Captain Dutchy says, hey, 320 Sim Pilot. Hey, Captain Dutchy, thanks for coming. Captain Dutchy says, really happy with what I'm seeing so far from this aircraft. Might have to pick it up soon. Yeah, it's really quite something. So let's keep going. As I said, very different to what we're used to. Oh, great quality of life feature. You can click the yoke out of the way. Really like that. Very handy. Anyway, gear down, and we're done up there. Comms panel, very simple, very intuitive. That's fine. Now, this is not intuitive, something the CRJ. It's not Aerosoft. It's just the CRJ. You'll notice that lots of systems will, again, the lights don't work. So I'm going to do those later, actually. I think we can run that later for the stab trim. Unless we should turn it on now. No, it says engage now. Okay, right. So the yaw damper's on. Stab trim, engage, Mac trim. So you have to actually turn it all on. It's really strange. And there's no lights on these stab trims to tell you they're on. But you would have a warning up here. So it does start to make sense. Right, that's it then. We can't avoid the inevitable. We are pretty much ready to go. Little jump outside. There we are. I'm hoping YouTube seems to be waking up a bit now. So don't worry, guys. Let us finish up that fuel panel. So that's all on. So we'll close that. And we're going to load in that FMGC. Now, there is a way to do this. I think you can copy in a flight plan if you want to, but I'm going to do it the old school way. We're going from Jersey to Belfast City. Alternate's going to be Manchester. And this all just works as you want. Now, my big thing with this airplane, I was really hoping that the lateral navigation would work, and it seems to be. I've not had any trouble with it, which is really great. Let us just grab the weather here. So, good question. I've gotten so used to the A320X being able to download the VATSIM weather. Let me just have a look. I need to look this one up. Stand by, guys. Just check which runway's in use. I need to get the bot that does that in the chat, actually. That would be good. It's northerly at 7. There's no air traffic control. Let's depart from 26. So I put origin runway 26 and execute appears down here. So once you do that, you must remember to press execute again. Press it once because that little prompt is telling you it's not done yet. It's just sitting there. Flight number, we're going to be the Shamrock EIN 264. And it goes. There we go. It appears there, appears up there. I love the curved effect on these screens. Really, really, really nice. I've not seen that done so well in a sim before. Most screens aren't as curved as these, but I did fly a CRJ 200 for a few hours in the simulator, and it was similar with its curved screens. Well, it's basically the same, isn't it? CRJ, obviously, 700 is an extension of the 200 that came later. And there we go. So let's go to departures arrival, runway 26. I want to go out via Skerry today. I'm not going to bog down in the charts. Execute, and you'll see already there's our departure. So satisfying to have lateral nav work. Flight plan then. So there is legs, but legs isn't where we want to type this in. We want to be on the flight plan page. Then you can go to next page. Anytime you see 1 or 2 up here, you can move along into the next page. And we're going from Scary, November 862. So November 862 to Bravo Hotel Delta. Then up in November 864 to Exmoor. Routes should be in the CloudBot if it comes up for you guys, and then you can try it out. And to the east says, every button is so new, screens wasn't touched before. You're lucky to get the plane straight out of the factory. Yeah, this is a very clean one, definitely. This has not got any crumbs on the carpet down there. Look at that, fantastic. Exmoor, we're going to take the Mike 17 Airway to Vatry, and then directed to Dublin. So as you would expect, what are you guys expecting me to do? I'm just going to stick Dublin in, and it fills in direct for us, which is great. And then to Nevra. So you see that execute prompt? I'm going to press it now because I'm happy with that. And then go to the next page, and we can keep drawing. You got to remember what was here, though. So Dublin, and then Nevry. Surprisingly long flight plan. I'm pretty sure we did our long haul stream with less waypoints. I don't know what I did to end up with this flight plan. And there we go. Abson. Almost there, I promise. Then directed to McGee. There's not much of a star in Belfast City, but it's an interesting one to fly to. McGee, and then the airport. So execute, and there we go. So there's a flight plan. Let's go to Perth in it. And now you'll see it's sort of blank. So what I can do is I can jump over to the iPad, and now we can start looking at performance tab. So I wanted to have about 60 passengers. We're going with 60 passengers. And a little bit of cargo. Anyway, my zero fuel weight here is 26.4. I wanted it to be 26.3, so that matches up with what I had planned. So set the payload in the sim. That's good. And then init fuel from the aircraft. Did I not load on all that fuel? Let me check what fuel we got. We got 4.4 on board. I must have done something different. But anyway, our fuel required... It's 4.4. No, why didn't it increase? I'm pretty sure I did that right. That's just up. Flick that on. Increase. See if we can get up to 5 tons. So that's going up. Oh, we shall see in a second what happened to that. Oh, maybe I need to turn off. So that is... When that gets to 2.5 on each side, that'll be off. Pavel says you can import SimBrief into the CRJ, though exporting it to the Aerosoft CRJ format and saving it to the work folder. There you go. Yeah, fantastic. Matthew says we make a dirty layer for everything and set it as an add-on. Lol. But I agree. We'll see if we can dirty it up a bit. I mean, I'm not going to complain about a clean flight deck. I know some simmers love it, and some simmers prefer a bit of wear and tear. It seems to be a very personal thing. I do think on the outside, it's up to the livery makers to add a bit of grime, and I think that would be nice. Right, that goes off then. Shall I have a look? Have we got 5 tons on now? Oh, stop scrolling through things. Leave it on. Okay, now we've got 5 tons. Okay, so lesson learned. Make sure you switch off the fuel and then depower the panel. And there's our 5 tons. So back to our tablet. Now I can do init fuel from aircraft, 5 tons. It's got our weights. We're a little bit above max landing when we take off, funnily enough. Which does surprise me, but there we go. Taking off at 34 tons, and we're going to burn a couple of tons of fuel, so that should drop us down a bit. I might cheat. Let's take out a little bit of the aft cargo just to help us out. Right, set payload, copy to FMS. Enough of that. So now that goes in here. Passengers, weights, all of that. Don't need to worry about any of that. Just the cruise altitude. We're going to cruise along at 340. Very capable airplane, this. Oh, something I need to learn. You can't type in 340. You've got to do F340. I've done this 1,000 times, and I'm still missing it every time. Alternate cruise level. Let's go to Manchester flight level. I've done it again straight away after saying it. F200. It doesn't accept 200 on its own. Execute. Next page, we can put in some winds and components. So I'm just going to do the cruise wind component. And I do have a flight plan over here. I'm very organized. Average component for this one today is average wind component -23, so a headwind. So I'm going to put M23, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that that works. There it is, and execute. And then obviously the last page. Now VNAV is very basic in this airplane. Don't expect too much from it, but there we go. So, all looking good. So let me think what else we need to do. As I said, this is still very new to me. So we've done our departures, arrival, we've done our init, we've done our legs, fix info. So this is great. This is same as the Airbus. You can write in a point. So let's put in Jersey as a point, and then I can just put a 6-mile ring around it, and you'll see there, that little green ring, just sort of situational awareness. But I think we're pretty much done on this. Progress page is going to be useful later. Radio page we can tune, but I'm going to leave it in auto for the takeoff. I don't want to get too excited about that just now. Performance, we've done our init. Management, VNAV. Okay, let's go to MFD menu. MFD data. Now this is the page where we control what we see on this MFD. Multifunction display. We're going to cycle it window on, and we can see some extra data up there. Right, I'm also going to add high nav aids so we can see sort of VORs and things like that, and I'm going to leave airports. I like the sound of that. Great. Back into the seat then. Probably getting time to finish up with the performance. You can also type in 34,000 instead of F340, so let's use it. There we go. Yep, so there's 2 ways of doing it, but that's about it for now. Or not for now, that's just how it is. Matthew says, well, it has about 5 times as much code running, so it will always be slower. I must admit, the performance on this, I've had no issues with so far, but I do run on a relatively high-end system, so it's not always very representative. Right, let's have that on flight plan, and it's going to be time to finish up our performance because I want to have that all set up. So performance in this airplane is a funny thing. It's not integrated with this. It's not taken out of the FMS system. It's taken out of you working it out and setting the numbers, which is exactly like the Dash 8. So we're going to do flaps 20 takeoff, dry runway. I don't know if this accounts for wind or not, actually, but there it is. I'm going to click set all, or I'm going to do it the manual way. Let's get some lights on. All the lights work really nicely. By the way, there's the wiper switch. It does work. This is tricky. Let's see if I can remember. Right, so target speed. So this target speed there, or TGT, is going to be the VT, which in this case is going to be VFTO 193. So watch this. You have to scroll with the little one all the way up to 193. The Dash 8 had a very similar system. Very cumbersome, time consuming, no doubt about it. It does force you to check carefully, but it means you've got to do it, then you've got to check the other pilots, and they're going to check you very carefully. 193, there we go. Then you can select it over to ref speeds. You can then turn each one, and then you press select to go to the next one, like VR. Absolutely hopeless. I'm just going to click settle. There we go. It does them for you. So that's a nice quality of life feature as well. Stos N, thank you very much for your €5.49 donation. Really appreciate it. So says, hey Captain, I've learned so much from your videos on demand streams. Keep it up. Greetings from Leoben, Austria. Have a safe trip. Thank you very much, Daz. Thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Great to see you here. And yeah, very kind of you. I hope you're doing very well in Austria. Great to have you here. It's great fun how many people from all over we get. So I'm going to use a bit more flap Jersey departure. And there we go. So that is our PFD setup. Final thing then, just to show you guys what's going on with our departure. We're almost there, I promise. I wanted to get going by 6:40, so we're doing all right. So we're going to take off from 26 on the scary departure. There it is, straight out. Stop altitude between 3,000 and 5,000 feet. So 5,000 feet to stop altitude. Then Guernsey over the VOR of Guernsey, 1094. And then up to Skerry. That's going to be the 26 way out of here. Wind is pretty much straight across. So we can tune some things if we want, or put some fixes in, but I'm not overly fast. It's going to auto tune things as we go. We're not using let me just check that. We're not using an NDB for departure. So the departure here, straight ahead at or above 3,000 feet, turn right, intercept the Guernsey 152 inbound to Guernsey, cross 5,000 feet. So anyway, crucial information there that I'm going to take away. Stop altitude of 5,000 feet. Simply that little number there, it's hidden away on the PFD. That's what we're looking at. Let's wind it down to 5,000. Now I mentioned in my first flight video with this airplane that this is an interesting setup. Having your FCU up here, or flight control unit is what I call it. I think the dude called it something different. Having it up here means you have to turn it up here and look down at the PFD. In the Airbus and 73, you have all your numbers up here, but those numbers, for example, with the altitude I could put in there, isn't what's important. The important one is what's on the PFD. So it's great when people learn to fly on these airplanes, or they learn not to fly, but they fly these airplanes early on in their career. They get that ingrained to look at the PFD, so they're focused on what's actually going to happen. So yeah, it's quite interesting or quite good to get to try that out here. Thor, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I hope you are doing very well. Specs, exclamation mark, specs will bring up the cloud bot for you guys. For any of you looking to see it. There won't be a face reveal. Nope. High schedule power button. I don't know yet. I need to learn it, but the dude said don't press it, so I will follow his instructions and not press it. Good. So I think we're pretty much done with that. Radio panel is on 1228. By the way, it does work with my Logitech radio panel, which I use, which helps me out a lot when I'm streaming on VATSIM. So yeah, I can flick between it, and I can set my squawk as well quite happily. I thought. Maybe not. Maybe I need to work on that one. But anyway, there we go. Before I start saying things that aren't true. I'm pretty sure I got the squawk to change the other day, but we shall see. DME hold, great feature, explained well by the dude. Something that Dash had as well. Basically, we can use a DME from an ILS or something, whilst also having the VOR tuned and displayed. Next thing is looking at our EFIS control, which is this sort of page. You need to choose what needles you want. So if I press through, it cycles through. Again, you've got to look here to see what you're getting. There's nothing here to tell you. It's not like a selector. It's just a sort of a push button. So I'm going to have VOR1 needle displayed, which should point at Guernsey when we get going. I'm going to have the format to the sort of arc mode, normal sort of style thing, and the range. Zoom in just a little bit for our departure. There we go. We can see the takeoff above 3,000 feet and then the right turn up on that intercept, which is great news. Moving on. Need to set that QNH. You can do it on here. I'm going to press B because... Oh, interestingly, pressing B cycles between the actual QNH 1027 and standard. I've not seen that before, but there we go. And I think this is all coming together. What else on here? So we set our speeds. We've got it set to normal. By the way, stall, I'm assuming that's protection, and pusher is a pusher. And I'm going to talk about this in a video at some point because of the format of the engines and where they are. We'll talk about the unique characteristics of this airplane. Not unique, but different compared to most commercial airliners that we're used to seeing. Certainly more than the underwing engines. Right. Let us get on with the before start checklist. So, passenger signs, they can come on. There we go. I'm not sure what auto does. I have to look that up. Let's start getting rid of some of the outside stuff. So, close that door, close the cargo, service doors closed, ground power removed.
Captain, the cabin is secure, all passengers are aboard.
Get lots of little PAs. I quite like them. I know they're not for everyone, but they can be adjusted in the options menu. Next page? Yeah, you can change all your announcements, which is quite fun. So I haven't played with lots of those yet, so lots of things to do before I can do any sort of a review. But there we go, that is all coming together, and you'll see that most of this stuff we've now done as part of our, there you go, your damper engaged, so it does work. But you'll see a lot of things just say checked, which is why this isn't much of a procedure, it just says checked. So before start, checklist, so passenger signs are on, landing elevation is set, altimeters are on 1027, I've checked it for both sides. I've made it so that the sim will sync them all, which is really a great feature. I don't know why you'd want to do that yourself. My heading bug is wrong, it should be on 2.6, but I'm just going to press that when we get going. Which would be a lazy way of doing it, I suppose, actually. So let's set it up properly. I feel bad just saying it, but I'll do that. So let's wind that round. Good news. Right, FMS is checked and set. IRS are aligned and in nav. Radios and nav aids set. Takeoff briefing complete. Next time, we're going to be before cleared to start. So what I'm going to do is, let's call that tug, which does actually work, which is quite nice. When the tug's attached, they would remove the chocks. That's when they would do it. Thanks for your subscription to Ketan. We've got a few subscriptions coming through now. So I'm going to have to... yeah, sorry guys. Alert box having to go on mute for a second. It just gets excited and suddenly announces all of the all of the subscriptions. So anyway, thank you all for your subscriptions. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along. And sorry, I won't be able to read out your names right now. But yeah, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the video. Now, I'm not sure if... I don't think the CRJ would use this sort of tug. This works more for taller aircraft, but there you go. It does fit just about, more convincingly than it did on our Beluga the other day. And we are pretty much ready to go. 1841, not bad. I'm pretty pleased. I thought I'd be much worse off. So, what warning lights have we got? Emergency lights off. Right, I haven't done everything. Emergency lights are over here. They should be in arm, so when we lose power, you'd have that on before the passengers. Outboard brake pressure, inboard spoiler ons. It's a hydraulic-y thing, I think. Over here, seatbelts, no smoking, APU, LCV, not sure. Is that something to do with the door? Engines are shut down, isolated open, engine bleeds closed. That's all fine. Brake temperatures are nice and cold. All these systems work. The brake temperatures go up. These come and go as the systems work. So yeah, there's loads of things to sink your teeth into if you really want to. Thank you all for watching. If you are enjoying, do please hit the like button. It makes a big difference for the channel. It really does, and helps us get further reach on YouTube, I suppose is the way to put it. So yeah, if you are watching and enjoying, do please hit the like button. Thank you so much for coming along today. So device is off, APU is on, electrics are checked, takeoff data is set, doors are closed and locked. Next is beacon, fuel pumps, hydraulic pumps, parking brake. So let's put that beacon on. That's the red light warning ground crew that we might start engines. Fuel pumps are on, hydraulic pumps are on.
From gate 12, Shamrock 105.
I've forgotten the last bits now. Parking brake on and then off when we go. Parking brake is on. You can hear the colleagues flying along with us today, pushing back now. So I'm going to wait for that 320 to go behind us. Jersey traffic, Shamrock 264, pushing back onto Alpha after the 320 passes behind 426. I think it's called Alpha. Let me just check that. Yeah, it is Alpha. And we're on stand 4, for anyone wondering. That beacon flashing there. It's all coming together. We're going to jump out in front of our colleague here. Right, now let's see if I can manage a pushback. I do find it hard. So we'll do the engine start once we push back and got away from that flying ground power unit. Right, alert box can come back on now. So apologies for the nuisance there. But thank you all for your subscriptions. We are going to
Jersey traffic, Shamrock
release the parking brake.
Departing runway 26.
And we're going to go for reverse. Did I do that right? I think that's right. Parking brake on. That is strange. What am I doing wrong there? Let me just check something with my controls, my pedals. Very strange. Just trying to convince that parking brake to turn off. Has anyone that's seen this one before or know what I could be doing wrong? I'm just going to turn off the hydraulics, see if that can trick it somehow. Oh. Parking brake is on. No, it's not having it. Is it this pushback program causing problems? Let's try getting rid of that. Paddy, good to see you. Paddy made this fantastic livery. Thanks for coming along. We've just got a slight issue with our parking brake. Now, I'm not sure what to do that. Chocks in EFB. Fantastic. Let's see, you guys. Ah, fantastic. Right. Thank you very much. I knew I'd done something. We even talked about it. Chocks in the EFB. Fantastic. This is the magic of streaming. I learn so much from you guys every time I stream. Look, chocks. Fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. Right, let's get that tug back on and get ourselves underway. Come here, tug. Thank you. It's always something that I've done. Always. I've learnt that. Paddy, thank you. Anyway, sorry, Paddy, you just joined a busy moment. Paddy made this fantastic livery as long as plenty of others. I think he was the first to get a livery out for the CRJ on flightsim.to. So, yeah, fantastic work as always. And the Jersey European one is also out now, which we may have to use for the way back. There we go. Lovely. It looks like nice and quiet, so we can push back without getting in the way of anyone.
Easy 90, holding at Alpha 1.
Good. Reverse. Oh, come on. What am I doing? Parking brake. There we go. Right, parking brake's off. We're going. And now we're going to go outside because I can't coordinate pushback from the cockpit. It's not something we ever do, and certainly not something I'm capable of. There you go. Immediately pressed it the wrong way. Go that way, please. So hopefully you're starting to get the impression that this airplane does have, you can sit there and there's so much more. We could have done dear me hold. We can put in more fixes. We can manually tune those VORs. You could set up the course bar and get yourself sorted to fly a raw data departure very easily, and it's all in there. It's just, like I say, it's going to be a different kettle of fish to what a lot of us are used to. It's such a different layout, and this is a CRJ thing. Like, the switches don't look like we expect. Certain things don't behave like we expect. Okay, let's do reverse. Let's stop there before we push our luck any further. And let's set the parking brake and remove the tug. Alex, thank you very much for your $5 donation. Really appreciate it, Alex. Thanks so much for coming along. And thank you for your donation. Very kind of you. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the video. Right, there's another caution. It's time to get those engines up and running, obviously. So, hydraulics need to come back on. Very good point. That will explain that caution. See, that's why when you're in an airliner, you don't just start flicking switches to try and solve problems. You take it very slowly. Right. Arm nose wheel steering. We'll do that in a second. I think that's done in the after start flow. So, we've done a before start check. Cleared to start check. APU's on. Electrics checked. Yeah, that's all done. Right. So, let's get the engine up and running. The easiest engine start I've seen. Easiest engine start now.
Easy man 0 departing runway.
There's EasyJet departing out there. Watch this. I think this is brilliant. You just go up here, you press the button, it says start. Now this does make sense. You hear the air conditioning turn down on its own accord. Watching N2 increase. Remember, these thrust levers are in the shut-off. It's like the master switches, except they're in the shut-off. It's attached to the whole thrust lever, which is actually quite a nice design. ITT is nice and cool. Anyway, yeah, making my head spin, says Alex. Yeah, exactly, it does. It's really different. 20% N2. Then I can flick up the little guard and move it into idle. Now I have to do that on here. I haven't found a way. Well, there might be a way, but I haven't found a way with my thrust levers. And looking for fuel flow. There it is, kilograms per hour. And I want to see ITT pretty shortly after that. Very important because that shows us that that fuel is going in and igniting. Otherwise, it's just going in and then sitting in a big fire hazard in the engine. Dougal, good to see you. Thanks for coming and moderating. Dougal had my first treatment today, so just relaxing in the background and enjoying. Thanks for coming along, Dougal. I hope you're feeling better soon, and yeah, you just relax and enjoy watching me struggle. There we go, we get the PA sounds, and that's a good stabilized start, I'd say. The numbers are all reducing. Let's start the next engine. Dead easy, press start. We can also press stop to stop it, but yeah, big fan of the engine start system on this. Could talk about it all day. Brandon says, this plane makes Boeings and Airbuses seem so alike. And I agree with that. It does. We all think that Boeing and Airbuses are so different, but actually they are surprisingly similar when you get to things like this. Atlas, I'm doing well. Thank you for coming along. 23% N2. I always do that, waiting for something, and then I end up reading the chat. Nope, not like that. Like that. There we go. Fuel flow. Oh, I turned it off. That was my fault. So has it automatically gone off? It has. So I'm going to press start again. Now there's probably a cooldown time limit before you're allowed to actually do that. So let's put that back there. Let's let the N2 accelerate again. 19, 20. So you do have to be careful. Lift that up fully, well, forward into that detent, and then I'm going to use my actual thrust lever to set it there. Fuel flow, there we go, 200 kilograms per hour, much better. Increasing. Let's look for an ITT. What does the engine sound like? Yeah, can you guys not hear it? Let me know if you need more desktop.
Jersey traffic, Shamrock 105 Mike.
The downside is you might hear a lot of ATC.
Via Juliet and
So
Alpha.
it's a bit of a balancing act. Engine is a big fan too. Very good, yeah. And there we go, accelerating. We're getting a lot of the cautions go away as those engines come to life, which is always what we want. I say as they appear. Now that's another feature of this aeroplane, which is again accurate, just like the Dash 8. When the doors open and things like that on the ground, you get the master warnings, and that is simulated. It's quite distracting, or you know, you start to tune it out as a pilot, but every time the door opens you get a warning, even though the engines are shut down. The Airbus, and I don't know about the 737 actually, but the Airbus knows that you want the doors open, so it doesn't actually give you the warning when the engines are shut down. Also little details like that really make it quite a different experience. Certainly I will be on VATSIM indeed. Right, that engine has started. Nothing to do now. You see how easy that is? We put that there, this switch comes off on its own, and that's great. So we'll run the after start check. We're going to put the generators in auto. Well, I've not touched them. Electrics checked, not fiddling with it. We're on the APU. Bleed valves auto. Again, I don't think I did anything to the bleed valve. That's on both engines. Isolation valve closed. Bleed air normal, and bleed valve was auto. Yeah, packs can come on. Again, look at this, very confusing. I need to leave it pressed in, but there's no light. Maybe it comes on after a while, I'm not sure. So I'm pretty confident the generators are online, so I'm going to turn off the APU. always a nerve-wracking moment when I'm flying airplanes I don't know. APU off, anti-ice we don't need, nose wheel steering armed, so here it is. Let's get that nose wheel steering on. You guys are on it though. Add VNAV info on your GPS, it's on the FMC. Yeah, we did that a little bit, but we've got VNAV for the descent certainly. Lots I need to know. We are going to go flying now. Sorry for how long it took, guys. There's a bit of audio for the engines. Someone coming up behind us. Let's get moving. So, we're going to get the taxi lights on. And what I'm going to do just before we get going is let's set up a... They include some nice passenger views, so I'm going to use it. Before we get run over. I like that one. That's nice. Okay. Jersey traffic, Shamrock 264 taxiing, runway 26 on Alpha. Okay, brake released. I'm really glad I didn't stream this yesterday because it's so... I just wanted to make sure I had a bit of an idea, and it also helps that you guys know because... So light will come on when the packs are off. There you go. Because you guys can give me so many tips as well. So a little brake check. Brakes are working. All good. And we'll get ourselves out of here. Do a little flight controls. Now, you don't have to look at them, obviously. The nose wheel steering seems to be attached to the rudder pedals as far as I can tell. It's very precise. But, as we said, this is a bit like the old Airbus. Let's go over to flight control. And then we can see on there. Roll spoilers, ailerons, elevator. And you're going to see the rudder in a second. It's incredibly maneuverable on the ground as long as you remember that nose wheel steering. That nose wheel steering being left off is a common thing on airplanes like this because it's that same style of switch that just sits down there. So it's very hidden and not very clear. It's also a problem because the first officer over there can't see it. So only one pilot can see it, which is not ideal considering how important it is. But only the captain can taxi this airplane anyway. The Airbus has 2 tillers. This one has I think it looks like the printers over there. So the first officer can as ever be in charge of all the paperwork. Oh dear, now that's not good. What happened there? Right, we'll click that button. Now, I tell you what happened there. I moved the mouse off to go and look at the chat. Now the problem is if you have this page up and you move the mouse off the screen like that, that's what can happen. It's not great, so do not leave it on this screen because if you move to the side, that's what can happen. So I'm going to click ready for taxi. The airplane is pretty good at doing that again. We're not going to do things like we did last time. I can get this airplane up and running pretty quickly, I promise. But what we are going to do is start up that APU again. Goodness me. Yeah, I told myself be really careful with that, but I left that page up anyway. So what else can we do? So we can see that by going to stats. So this is going to be... Sounds like it's coming online, but I'm not sure. Let us... Ready for startup? Is that going to be better? There we go. APU's on the way. Right, we can get those engines up and running in a second. I was sort of hoping if you did ready for taxi, it would do it straight away. But nope, ready for startup seems to be the way forwards here. Yeah, that's what happens when your mouse drags off to the side and you lose everything. Flight plan might be gone. Don't worry, we'll get the flight plan in no time as well. APU seems to have given up though. Oh dear, that is not ideal. And the front wheel has vanished. Matt says, I did that yesterday. Yeah, this is a thing. And I remembered reminding myself before the stream, get off this tab. Because if you don't, you'll accidentally do this very easily. Now, we haven't got any engines. That APU isn't playing ball either. Let's just restart it there. Depower. Nope, it's not happy. Right, we're going to do it cold and dark. Seems to be not too happy. Put that on. I can't convince it to do much. I'm clicking things too fast now. That's the problem. Let's go to cold and dark. Okay, right. Let's sit. Stop clicking things. Let's sit for just a second. I'm going to disconnect off VATSIM just for a moment. Life gives you lemons. It does happen. Yeah. So I don't want to sit on the taxiway, obviously. So I'm just going to disconnect from VATSIM for a moment. And now we will do it Right. Okay. Now, calmly, 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 let us go to ready for start. Right. Now we leave it alone. APU's up and running. Shortly, when the APU's up and running, we'll get this back and we'll put in our departure. We'll do the rest of the route as we go. Sean said it's okay, sort of real-world CRJ pilot and beta tester do the same thing. On his stream earlier, he used every four-letter word in the book. Yeah, I know. I told myself not to do that. Anyway, that APU is very quick, and I promise I have instant align for a reason set up on the IRSs. I'm going to click any other page now. This is quite good actually. This is going to help us out. It's going to show. There we go. All online. It's going to show what you can do with this airplane if you guys want to keep it simple. So. APU's online. Everything else is in auto. I'm going to stick the fuel pumps on. This is not procedure. This is simply me doing it from memory of what we know. Beacon on. See, the panel states did pretty much work. Lights are on. Signs are on. That's all good. How much fuel have we got? We got 4.9. So we got the same amount of fuel. Now let's go to index. Pause in it. Let's go Echo, Golf, Juliet, Juliet in there. And then take that position and initialize the FMS. Then we go to flight plan, Echo, Golf, Juliet, Juliet. You know, the first time I did this, it took me so long, but you do get used to it. Alternate Manchester. And we don't want to forget, it is a nice detail having Shamrock 264 as our flight number. Good, origin, runway 26 there, and execute. Right, there you go. We've already got a bit of a flight plan. Departure, arrival from runway 26. Next page, scary departure, executes. Good stuff. Right, let's go to flight plan. And I'm just going to put in the first thing after scary. We'll do the rest on the way. So do please remind me, otherwise I'll forget. So from scary, I'm taking the November 862 to Bravo Hotel Delta. There we go. Execute. We'll do the rest when we're on the way. No problem there. Perf in it. Easy. We've got the payload. That's all set. Well, let's just make sure it is. Set the payload, copy to the FMS. Cruising at 340. No. Do it properly. F340. Right, so here you go. This is a speed run of powering up this airplane and getting it going. Not what you do in real life. There's a cruise. And then here we had minus, I think it was about minus 28. Something like that in the... oh, no, not here. That was all fine. Next page. Previous page. Cruise wind. There we go. Minus 28. Just put a bit of a headwind in. Execute. Okay. So, do we have a departure on here? We do. 10,000 feet is on there. I want that to be saying 5. So, we got 5,000 feet. Let's set the QNH. Let's set all those speeds. So, flaps 20 takeoff. Set all. So, that is all in now. Heading bug, I'll recenter as we get out to the runway. You'll see that. So there you go. Look, we're ready to go. We've got our speeds up here. We've got our stop altitude. Let me just set the correct QNH, which is in there. And let's just have a look down here. Is everything else on? No. So this is the important bit. Stab trim and mac trim need to come on or it won't work. Yaw damper needs to come on. Not very obvious, but they're hidden down there. So that is us pretty much ready to go. Let's get those engines started up. I was saying how easy it is. Let's prove it again. N2 spinning. There you go. Well, hopefully that was useful for you guys, just to show you it can be done, even if you're feeling pretty lost in this airplane at first, like I was. It gets better, I promise. We'll go MFD menu, high nav aids, put the window on. IGT at 20. We're doing this engine first today, or now, out of the several startups we're doing today. Fuel flow, accelerating, good stuff. Thanks, Thor. Yeah, Tower is online now. Oh, and I'm going to... Oh, not sure what we're going to do about that. Not sure what we're going to do about that. Anything else I can do in here, guys? You guys know better a lot of the time. Nose steering is armed, so that's going to be ready. Let's get those lights back up. I do like having the lighting working. So, you know, complex airline, the systems are all there, but you'll get used to it. Reset fan can go on. These lights on the overheads. Hydraulics are all on. Good stuff. Okay, I think that engine started. Starting the other engine, number 2. Nice as well, we've got separate FMSs, so they do actually do their own and display on their own screen, which is quite impressive. Will it complain if reverse thrusters are not armed? I don't know if it would complain, but we do need to do it. Yeah, heading bug. Let's do that. Spin that around now. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it complains, but it will warn you up here about the reversals, I think, before you get going. Or maybe it gives you the notice over here. But it is also in the checklist, of course. Right, 22%. Lever. So I said 1840. We're running 20 minutes late now. Passenger signs are off, are they? Nope, they're in on. They're both up and in on. Yeah, again, that's my point about these switches. Not great. And the Airbus has some of them as well. I'm not a fan of that style of switch. While we're here. Window seat says, your soothing voice is making my livery paint easy, that's for sure. Excellent news. Okay, the windshield heats. There we go. It's always something missing. They should, not that one, not the anti-ice. Something cool about that to talk about in a minute. There we go. Right, let's just check we haven't got chocks in. We do have chocks in. So we're going to have to go back to that page carefully. Aircraft. Closed, 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 closed. Removed. Gone. Performance. Okay. Let's set that takeoff trim now. 7.6. Bit nose up. More than I'm used to. But there we go. 7.6. While we're here, let's do our flight control check. Flight controls. There we go. So we got that working. The hydraulic pumps are online. Great news. Rudder. We're on the QNH. And I'm going to go back to stat. And now there is a way to put in a flex as well, I believe, in here. But yeah, we aren't going to get too bogged down with that now. I think it's all coming together. So, what messages have we got left? APU is open because it's running. Seatbelt signs. Yeah, well, we know that. Generators are in auto, so let's get rid of the APU. Elevator trim is just on the yoke there. That's how we do it, and then we can see it on that screen over there. Right, let's get moving, and then actually let's connect to VATSIM and see how much trouble we get in. I'm gonna risk it. I believe there's Jersey Tower 11945. We'll just say we had some technical trouble. This is where they give us a different departure. That would be a shame. Jersey Tower, good afternoon. Shamrock 264 on Alpha, taxiing out to runway 26 for a scary departure. Let's get moving.
Shamrock 264, good evening, sir. Going out to Belfast City, I believe.
That's the plan. Belfast City, please, if we could get clearance for that. We have QNH of, and I can tell you in just a second when I see it again, 1026.
Shamrock 264, yes, sir. QNH 1026 cleared out to Belfast City, Scary 3 Alpha departure, squawk 1264.
Clear Belfast City, Scary 3 Alpha departure, squawk 1264, Shamrock 264.
Shamrock 264, read back is correct. So continue taxi Alpha 1, report ready for departure.
Taxi Alpha 1 and Wilco, Shamrock 264, thank you. Lovely, very nice controller, really helping us out. Right, there we go. Am I on the good? I'm on the different page. Chances of me doing that are, again, sadly quite high. So, yeah, something to be careful of. It's not a problem if you're using the simulator in a window, but it's when you use another window that it is a serious issue. Right, let me just check. Scary 3 Alpha, and let me check in here. Scary 3 Alpha. Right, next step is the squawk. So I'm going to get to Alpha 1 and do the squawk there, because there's a few other things I need to do. Yeah, this is VATSIM, indeed. Excellent, excellent. Still got our wing view. Oh yeah, Aerosoft have managed to put in a sort of higher frequency wing bounce for taxiing than you have in flight. So the wing frequency changes when you trundle along the ground, which is quite fun, because you obviously you do see that quite a lot in airliners as they bounce along on the ground, especially when they haven't got much fuel in. The sim pilot says arm and the thrust reversers. Yeah, I'm not sure where this comes in the checklist. In fact, we haven't put the flaps out yet, so let's do the taxi checks. So 3 flaps down for flaps 20 today. Flight controls we've checked. Trim is in green, and we've got our units. Thrust reversers armed, so yeah, they would come up in the checklist eventually. Flight instruments checked. Brake temperature check. And like I said, what I'm using for this is the little, it's a little document they provide. Lots of documentation comes with this, so this is the closest I found to a simplified procedure sort of thing. So we're going to Alpha 1. Alpha 1, I think. Let's just check we get the right one. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's done that. Oh, Alpha 1's on the left here. That's Golf in front of us. Yeah, I thought so. I had a feeling I was going the wrong and needed to turn left sooner than I thought. So let's turn out here and then we'll get it ready to go. Oh, just had an issue with VATSIM, I believe. Not sure what though. I think we're still connected. You guys are usually the first to notice these things more than me. I don't think this plane has auto landing. And yes, squawk. Thank you very much, Georges. Thank you very much for coming along and saying so. Yeah, we need to do the squawk. And then we're going to have a little chat about the takeoff because it's very different. I'm so sorry this has taken so long for us tonight, guys, but these things happen. It's all part of the world of streaming. You'll notice no flight directors yet, and there is a reason for that. Right, let's stop here because there's a bit of a rush there. Let's just look around. So we've definitely got flaps 20. We've got the trim set. We've got the thrust reversers armed, and it warns us up there that they are armed. The APU is off now, which is good, so I can depower it. Probably I could have just depowered it earlier, but there we go. Now the dude showed us a cool feature where you can actually box these extra warnings so that you don't see them and then it pops up. If I can remember how to do it, I'll be really impressed with myself. Is it? I thought it said messages somewhere. Okay, I shouldn't have said anything. Is it CAS? No. Stop pressing things. Anyway, there is a way to do that if you were paying, or better at remembering things than me.
Jersey Tower, Golf 45 Bravo Tango, radio check.
Squawk needs to happen. That's the plan now. Squawk is 1264.
Bravo,
so I'm going to go
very good
here.
To Jersey Tower. Readability is 5.
And now it works on my panel as well.
Golf 45 Bravo
2,
Tango, the CRJ 700,
6,
information whiskey at stand 23,
4.
requesting IFR clearance to Luxembourg as filed.
1264. No, okay, it doesn't seem to work with the panel.
Very good evening,
Not sure why.
Cleared, out to Luxembourg. Can 2 Bravo departure. Oh, no, we're running off 26. That's going to be a can 2 Alpha, I believe.
Scroll. There's probably a quick way of doing this. That seems quite cumbersome as well. 1264.
Luxembourg
There we go.
Via the can 2 Alpha departure.
1264. Out reporting on. Turn. And I want to be on TARA.
Got 45 Bravo Tango, read back correct. When ready, call
It's on auto. Auto seems fine, I suppose, right? I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to go. So do please hit the like button if you're enjoying the stream and you enjoyed my attempt at a rushed setup at the end there. So, plan here, guys. Takeoff. Very different to a normal airliner that we're probably used to. Getting loads and loads of ding-dongs, but let's ignore that for now. So, we are going to take off on 26. It's very quick on the takeoff. We're going to go to toga. So I'm going to go all the way through to climb and then toga, not max power, just toga. That's enough. We're going to go with our 20 notches of takeoff. By 80 knots, we're going to release the pressure on the stick.
Airbus
And
A320
then,
NEO,
as we rotate at 126, so quite low, it happened quite quickly. We'll get the nose up to almost 20 degrees of pitch. As we're climbing away, positive climb, gear up, and then we can engage nav mode and speed mode. And then after 600 feet, I can put in the autopilot and get the nose down once we accelerate. After our acceleration of about 1300 feet, I'm going to bring the thrust levers back to climb thrust, increase that speed, retract the flaps on schedule, and away we go, hopefully happily and in nav mode. So let's give it a go. Now this is a good time to use the checklist. So let's go to checklist. Before takeoff, lights and strobes will come on. Fuel crossflow manual. That's to stop a takeoff issue. A fuel imbalance issue or something like that. So you can click that to go to manual, and I'm not sure why, but that seems to be there. Flight attendant advised, transponder TCAS on, radar terrain set. I think that's not modelled at the moment, the terrain. I have been trying to see it. Lights and strobes. And CAS. Right, let's go. Jersey Shamrock 264, ready for departure, Alpha 1.
Shamrock 264, runway 26, cleared for takeoff. Winds are currently 3407 knots.
Clear for takeoff, runway 26, Shamrock 264. Okay. On. That should have been on anyway. That would have been on. Strobes on. There we go. And let's get on that runway and get going out of here. you'll notice it gives us a little takeoff config OK. It does it automatically. So that, you know, I complain about some things about this design, like having to put fuel in manual and so on. That seems a tad loud. Yeah, I'll try and work on that. But yeah, you need to. There are some other features that work really well. Let's bring up an FMS, sorry, a VOR needle. That's what I had earlier. VOR 1, there we go. Right, clear on the approach as we enter the runway. Clear on the left, short runway, so I'm going to set thrust while stationary, I think is the plan. Turn your flight directors on. So we're not going to need to do that because I'm going to hit toga, you see. That's my understanding. We shall find out. And that is going to update the position of the airplane in the FMS. And it's going to give us some flight directors. Right. There we go. Finally. 1 hour, 10 later, I'm going to get some nasty comments about that. I always do when I'm too slow getting in the air. We are ready to go. Let me move this out of the way. Get out of that. So, let's go. Thrust is coming up.
Go
then I'm going to hit this, and you'll see toga, or takeoff. Then toga. Now that little toga on the FMA isn't there in the real airplane, but it's there just to remind us where our thrust levers are, because we can't feel it as well. Although luckily I have the Airbus TCA pack, so I can actually feel it. So clicking that gives us the flight directors, but they're not much use for now, obviously. 80 knots, stick to neutral. I have found this plane has a habit of trying to rotate on its own occasionally. You might see it do it today, so I'm not sure if that's something I'm doing wrong or not. But there it goes on its own. Rotate. And you've got to keep pulling out to get that nose up. Right, very much positive climb. Gear up. We're going to hold it at 20 degrees because that pitch bar is just too low. We've got way more performance than that. And it's all working out. Fantastic. Let's go to nav, speed, autopilot. Nose comes down.
Unfortunately, sir, no further ATC for you at this time. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Have a great flight. Bye-bye.
1228 Shamrock 264. Thanks for your help. Bye-bye. Very nice controller. Move that over. Right, we're well through acceleration. So let's wind that speed up. Just going to put it up to 250. See, you can't see it up there. You've got to have it down. But luckily, I can see not only on the speed tape, but also FMS 1, and it says climb. So let's put climb 250. Let's bring those thrust levers back. So they're currently at toga. Let's go to climb, which is the max climb thrust. Very similar to the Airbus. And now we're accelerating. I need to do a bit more working out of the flap retraction schedule, but I'm going to bring them in a stage here because I'm pretty confident that that will be fine. There we go. Finally, we're in the air. The sim pilot says bottom screw next to the CRS knob. Yep, there we go. That's the great toga button. It does work well for us. Just can't wait to get going. No, it's funny. I'm not sure. Oh, get those flaps in. Happens quickly. And there's our 250. And now it's going to be speed, not really protected, but you'll see the nose rise and then it will go into out capture. So watch what happens. Out capture. And now the speed is just going to increase because we're demanding climb thrust. No auto thrust available. So I've got to do that myself. Winding that back. It is very sensitive, I'm finding. So I need to fiddle with my sensitivity curves, I think. Here's our routes. VO1, it's tuned to Jersey. You can see the needle pointing behind us. If I change that needle to FMS 1, it just points ahead. I don't really know what FMS 1 achieves. I suppose it points to the two-way point, I guess. I can update the heading bug by pressing that, and then the heading bug centers. That is a feature long-term viewers will know I'm not a fan of. Let's go all the way up then. We're in free airspace, so nothing better than getting to climb straight to our cruise, 340. How are we going to do this? Well, for me, I'm just going to press speed, climb thrust, set the speed to 250. Now it's saying out S capture, but when it isn't in a capture, it should protect the speed, and if it does, then I know it's pretty much not doing that. So I think this is an FMA bug, I think, unless it's something I'm doing wrong. Flaps to 0 indeed. Yeah, we had flaps 1 out there. Yeah, very good spot. That's interesting. It doesn't seem to give you a warning then when your flap 1 is 230. Yeah, so it does give you the warning for 8 degrees of flaps, but it doesn't bother with the slats. How funny. So much to learn with this machine. Everyone's seen it. Well done, guys. I'm used to taking off flaps 8 That's what I was doing before, but Jersey seemed short enough to get away with using the flaps 20. But yeah, big gotcha there, because I saw that red bar disappear, so I thought, well, that must mean the flaps are in. Maybe it is an out capture. See the speed just running away? We do have an alternative. If I go to vertical speed, you can see it says VS 3.1. I think if I now press speed, there we go. So, trust the FMAs. The FMAs seem to work. I'm just not sure why it didn't engage properly. And away we go. Have we definitely got nav mode, or have I missed that? Let's see. No, we did our turn. Yeah, no, it's okay. We're on our route. Soon through 10,000 feet. Matthew says, that's a bug in the sim. The actual plane will 100% scream at you for flaps 1. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised. Because I'd have thought if you're going to have a red bar for any flaps, because not all airplanes do, I'd be surprised if you would have it for some flaps and not others, put it that way. That would be very confusing. Right, ice warning, 10,000 feet. We need to go up to standard, obviously, because we're going up to a cruise out. So 1013, I wish it said standard. I do prefer when airplanes say standard. I think that's nicer, more clear anyway. But there we go, 1013, 250 knots. That's all absolutely fine. It says ice, so we're going to put on the ice, and you'll notice there is a power change, and I'm going to show you that later when you add or take away ice, which is always great. Your flight plan, thank you very much. Yeah, good point. So let's wind up that range. Got a bit of time. We've got 40 miles, but we've also got a lot of climbing to go. So let's try and do this at the same time, carefully. That's the order of the day. So flight plan. Thanks very much for the reminder, though. So from Scary, we said November 862 to Bravo Hotel Delta, then Upper November 864 to Exmoor. This is like, has anyone seen Wallace and Gromit? Wallace and Gromit is a there we go, it starts flashing when it changes waypoint as well. Quite handy. Anyway, Wallace and Gromit is an animated show. Obviously, I think it's very famous. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. And there's a scene in that where Gromit's on a model railway and he's sat on the train while it's going along, and he's having to lay out the track in front of him as he's going in order for the train not to come off the rails. And that's pretty much what we're doing here now. Mike 17, battery, and then there you go. There's serving sandwiches in the back. That's all good. And remember the execute button. So from Dublin, next page to Nevry. Direct, still looking good, still climbing 250 knots. We could accelerate a bit here. Nevry, there we go, got to type it correctly. Then November 34. 34 to Abson. Then McGee. Done. Execute. There's a flight plan. And there you go, drawn ahead. So we've grommeted this problem, no doubt. Let's go on to our climb speed now. I think in here it's possible to see that. Progress page, is it? Or is it VNAV? Target speed in the climb was 290 knots. I'm just going to use that because it sounds like a sensible climb speed. So we can climb in effectively, this is effectively flight level change, or those of you from the Airbus will know it as open climb. And that's basically what we're doing here. But we've got to remember when we level off, it's going to be upset if we... oh, it's not going to, it's going to overspeed. Everyone wants cheese now? Yeah, there you go. Ed Islam. Haha, yeah, indeed. British F Geek, good to see you. British F Geek says his hand's still here. Was Hans here as well? I didn't see that. Sorry, I was yeah, too busy making my life difficult. So we definitely have a checklist we can do here. Now we're rocketing up. Climb checklist. So we did that before takeoff. So climb. Fuel flow needs to go to auto. Bleeds and APU set. Thrust reversers off. Gas checked. Okay. That auto. Bleeds and APU set. Thrust reversers off. I don't know why we have to arm the thrust reversers. That seems like a clunky system, but there we go. And gas checks. How's it looking? APU's off. No smoking seatbelts. We've got all that anti-ice on. So 86.2 N1. Let's see if this works. Oh, it's not working. What? Something I did the other day caused it to actually work. I was really, really impressed. Last caution ice. It's complaining about ice, but we really don't have any ice, and we couldn't. Sian says, currently on my way to Atlanta from London in the Delta A350-900. Currently chasing the sun. Excellent. Enjoy that. Cracking bit of cheese. Exactly. Yeah, I knew you guys would know Wallace from it. If you want to know the flap retraction schedule, says Matthew, I do indeed. It's for flap 8 takeoff at V2 plus 12 flaps 1 and VT minus 15 flaps up. And for flaps 20, it's V2 plus 12 flaps 8 at V2 plus 20 flaps 1 and VT minus 15 flaps up. There you go. Yeah. It's one of those things that once you're used to it, I'm sure it's pretty straightforward, but there you go. Did you actually have to go and get those waypoints, or were they provided in the sim? No, those waypoints I have from a Simbrief flight plan, so that's why I typed them in. You could do the flight planner in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but you'd have to write it down somewhere. I don't think there's a way to move it across. British Av Geek, you probably had it go cold and dark for the same reason I did. If you have this page set to aircraft and you move the mouse over, it has the risk of clicking one of the cold and dark states. So that's what happened to us earlier. And I told myself, I knew that was a thing that could happen, and I was very careful, but it happened anyway. Thor, thank you very much for your $13.15 donation. I can't see the currency, I don't think, actually. It just comes up in dollars, but thank you so much, Thor. And Thor says, CRJ is a strange abbreviation. It's fun seeing the change of pace and how you catch yourself moving along too quickly before taking a step back and establishing control again. Any chance of dusk lights and integral lighting? Loving the stream. Thank you so much, Thor. Thank you for your donation. Really kind of you. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along today, and thank you for donating towards us. We can absolutely have a look at the lighting. Do remind me when we're up in the cruise, and we will do that, because I wanted to show you guys, because it's not something I've seen much shown either. It doesn't make for a good stream usually doing things at night, but there we go. Do please hit the like button if you're enjoying the video, though. It makes a big difference to the channel. Bjorn says lights. There we go. Yeah, 10,000 feet. Those landing lights could most certainly go off. Don't think we need the taxi lights either. And we'll leave the rest on. Still getting that ice warning. You can see it flags up, so we turn it on and that flag goes, but there's just no chance. There you go. Look, see that N1 reduce? That's because by using the anti-ice system, we're taking air pressure out of the engine and using it to heat up the wings. If I turn it off again, you'll see it increase again, because that pressure is available for the engines. I can see that standards, or it's flashing over there, so I'm going to press for the FO, who's obviously been too lazy to do it. Standards, there you go. Great stuff, and away we go. We have a nice progress page here, shows us arrival times. 51 minutes to Belfast City. The alternate doesn't seem to work, but that's probably because I haven't got an alternate flight plan in there. Check your ProPete, says Guillaume. Yeah, have I done that as well? Have I missed something on the ProPete panel? Low? Ah, now that's remarkable. Is there really no warning that the ProPetes are off? Just for you guys today, I set up the keys to be able to do this. Look at that. You have to turn them on. There's no warning, no caution. Is that true? Does a real airplane not have a caution for that? Even the Dash 8 had a caution for that. That's quite impressive if that's true. But there we go. Good spot. Thank you. Very good spot from where we were sitting. This is why I'm here. For you guys to show me. Checkpoint says the FO is probably too busy to nap on warm surfaces. Yeah, I think the FO is napping at the moment. Most certainly. Bandit says, any advantage of buying the CRJ from Aerosoft over the marketplace? I believe the updates may be a bit quicker, but I'm not sure that's confirmed. Ed says, do you have a tutorial on setting camera views? I really need some help. Basically, I use the default ones now. So I press Control 2, Control 3, Control 4, Control 5, and you see how it zooms around. The only thing I've done is I've added Translate to my arrow keys, so I can translate left and right, just to get a view at switches like that. Again, I'm going to say it. You know I'm going to whinge about it. These, it's hard enough to see as it is, let alone hidden over here on one side. getting it up to our level off now. So this is a high performance aeroplane. It will go up to over 40,000 feet. So we're talking, it's serious business. We need to be careful, because what that means is we're not actually struggling for performance up here. We're climbing at Mach decimal 7.4, no problem. So it's going to level off and accelerate quite easily as we get up there a bit higher. So we have to be careful. Otherwise, I've got the drone camera set up, or the showcase camera set to that wing view. But yeah, I just don't make custom views in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't think I have any custom views. I have them in X-Plane to see wing views and so on. Probe switches are for heating on the ground. In flight, probes are automatically on regardless of switch position, says Josh. Thank you very much. There we go. So that's more like the Airbus then. If you don't need to turn on the probe heat's automatic in the Airbus entirely. But it sounds like you would turn on those probes at some point earlier on. There you go, a few tutorials from a few of you guys for Ed to get those views, which is great, because yeah, I'm very lazy. Right, we're getting to our last 1,000 feet to go. I want to control that rate of climb. Pavel says, do you like the HUD in the CRJ? We'll check that out in just a second. Well, actually, let's check it out while we're climbing. So you go up here, click. There it is. I haven't used it at all, I'll be honest. I know everyone I know who flies an airplane with a HUD, they absolutely love it and they can't stop talking about it. Press select, but I'm not used to that, obviously, being an Airbus driver. Right, 1,000 feet to go. Look at that. Is my rate of climb? Yeah, 1,400 is shown on there. Daniel, thank you very much, Daniel Peterson, for your 59 sec donation. Really appreciate it, Daniel. I hope you're enjoying the video. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. And thanks for coming along today. I hope you're doing very well. Thank you, Daniel. Really appreciate it. Data Tango says, time to sort out dinner. Enjoy the rest of the flight. Goodbye. Goodbye, Victor Tango. Thanks for coming along. There's out as capture. So thrust has to come back. That is our responsibility. Beautiful, clear day now. Really nice. So, already the speed's running away. Now, it's just so sensitive. This is my problem with it. I need to work this out. You can see we're still basically not climbing, so I really need to leave it in climb until we get there and then take it just out the detent. The problem with leaving it just out the detent is on my little thrust levers, it tries to constantly sort of move forwards into the gate, which is a bit of a problem. British Earth Geek says, below the EFB there is a sky cam. Turn on, go to camera 3. Oh, we'll do that in just a second then. There's a right turn then to Exmoor, but I'm going to cheat, seeing as we're running so late. Let's try out the direct. As I said, lateral navigation was the thing I really wanted to work here. So I want to go to Swanee. There it is. Select. Remember the execute prompt. You can see it there. Execute. And there it is. Joy of joys. I'm so happy. And there's our speed increasing. Just going to bring the thrust levers. You see it says man. I don't think the real aircraft does that. I think that's added in for our help. Yeah, so I'm not sure which one of these is the flight path vector. I do not know how to use this HUD. Not sure. Especially as this is going up and down, but we seem to be flying straight and level. Not sure. Enrique says, hello, is it your plans or could you make a VATSIM configuration for Microsoft Flight Simulator video? I tried to do it but cannot get the A320 to get the ATIS from EU airports. Thanks. Okay, yeah, as long as you get... Okay, yeah, I'll have a think about that. Thanks, Enrique. Bit of a VATSIM tutorial, yeah. People have asked for that for a few times. Dimitri says, why are there buttons for pitot heat if they're turned on automatically anyway? Well, it could be that you want to heat them up on the ground because you're in icing conditions or they could be blocked, something like that. That would be my guess. Let's set that speed target. Look at that. We can go faster than the A320, that's for sure. Maybe a bit turbulent today for that, but there we go. Right, let's see. So Skycam, camera 3. Power. There we go. And there's Matthews. Day and night. Oh, look at that. Even that. You see every switch, like I said. It's all there. Is that a CRJ door? It's definitely not an Airbus door. Is it? No, that's not an Airbus door. No, no. So, yeah. Could be a CRJ door. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm looking at with this HUD, although it is handy because we have got to stay right on it with the thrust the whole time. Up in the cruise, let's give the passengers a chance to stroll around. Belts off. I wonder if the cabin crew will say something now. There we go, guys. Right, next step. People wanted to see dusk. There you go. That's the backlighting. Thank you very much, Gulam, for your $2.99 donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Gulam says, loving the stream. Really kind. Thank you. Really appreciate it. So, there we go. That is the sort of integral lighting, but there's more. There's more. Wait, there's more. We can adjust the display brightness. That's integral. Let's do flood. And that is sort of floods the panel down here. So now you get a bit of a better view. And there's another one up here. That's the HUD brightness. I think there's another one up there. There it is. Hopeless. It was there all along. So that is another little light. Not sure what that lights up. That lights up sort of down here, I suppose. Like your area. Because if I go to the overhead panel, control 2, you can see it there. Nice effect on it as well. So that's controllable with this one. And you can see it. It does actually get brighter. It does change the effect it has. Let's get rid of that HUD. Don't know what I'm doing with it. Bang. Can we adjust the screen brightness? Will that change? Oh, very good. So that does those middle two screens. I'm imagining that means we're responsible for ours. There we go, yeah, look. And we've got our own floodlight down here. Ah, and a floor light. Excellent. I love looking at the floor. Fantastic. That's probably mostly useful for a dropped pen and things like that. That's why you'll have that. It's all here, guys. This is, you know, PFD changes. But like I was saying earlier, every switch does something. It's really remarkable. It is. And like I said, at first you get in it and you may feel like, oh, this isn't quite what I was expecting. You know, maybe these switches aren't all working, even though they move. But it seems to me that it's just the CRJ. It's more that you've got to get used to. You have to bring that speed back a bit. Anyway, let's go a bit more afternoony time. So for me, flying along at that maximum speed is a bit challenging just because of the way, like I say, my thrust levers are set up. Point says with that HUD, I hope you have good dental insurance. Yeah, agreed. CN says, I live in Northern Ireland, been to Aldergrove and Belfast City, but honestly Aldergrove is better in every way, not as cramped as the city airport. So the airport we're going to, Belfast City, is obviously the smaller of the two, right in the centre. It did, I don't know if it still does, it did have a Bombardier factory right next to it, this being the Bombardier CRJ, Canadair regional jet. So that's why I thought it'd be appropriate to go to. I'm not sure if it is I'm not sure if it's included in the scenery. I've got some freeware scenery. Mark says, what is a black dial on the window frame to the left? Looks like a light to me as well. It's our little chart light. So yeah, these airplanes had these fitted. You can see it lighting up the iPad. But these days they're not used much because a lot of companies will have the iPad fitted. But yeah, it would be because you would have your paper charts and you'd clip them on the side here. There'd be a little clip. So this would be your chart light. So yeah, Airbus has one as well, but almost never used now. It's funny how things change, but there we go. What else can we do? Let's have a look in here. So if I go to MFD data, it brings up sort of your flight plan, progress and so on, different waypoints, fuel expected at that point. It's all here, guys. It's quite impressive. So we're arriving at Belfast with 3.7 tons of fuel. If I go to MFD data, I can now press it again. No, MFD menu. Oh, there you go. Got it wrong every time. I think I've tried. We can change what we see. Low nav aids, which would be NDBs, I suppose. Intersection points. Takes a second to load. Get rid of that. NDBs are not around much. ETA, I quite like ETA. I think I'll have ETA at each point. Although I'm not sure what time that's based on. Oh, there's NDBs, sorry. So I'm not sure what low nav aids are. The NDBs are a separate one. Turn waypoints. Not sure. Again, I'm sure it's modelled, but it's stuff that I'm just not very familiar with. And we can change what we see on top. There's VNav. And there's something. I'm not sure what that is. Or off. Not sure what the difference between comp and off is. Can't see anything change, but there we go. The dude seems to like having the window on, maybe VNav for the descent, so I'm going to try and do something similar. Right, next checklist is for the descent, so landing elevation to set and so on. So I'm going to give you a wing view for a second while I bring up the charts over on the other side. Magic of leaving the sim in the wing view is that when I move my mouse to the side to bring the charts app up, it doesn't have any risk of accidentally going to cold and dark, which would be really embarrassing. It could happen, guys. It could happen again on final approach. If it does, I can only apologise. The question's going to be then, what is the weather doing up in Belfast City? Let me have a look. We are using live weather, so I can just check that out myself. It's northerly. It's northerly. Wow. Rare. But there we go. So that tells us which runway to expect. Sounds like a 04 sort of day. That's fun. We'll get to do a turnaround on the runway as well. So I need to stick that into the CDU. Give you a bit of an outside shot. There's our contrails as well now working. Are they still at an angle? Yeah, hopefully that gets fixed in an update soon. But I think the team is very much aware of it. Right, Cian says, oh, we lost a message. Just started my descent into Atlanta after cruising for about 7 hours. Enjoy. Yeah, we'll have a look at the weather. Good point, Bradley. Yeah, do that in seconds. Luke says, just discovered your channel after recently getting back into flight sim. I love the tutorials for the 320. Great, thanks very much, Luke. Thanks for saying so. Glad you like it. Sean says, Shorts is owned by Bombardier. Half my family worked there through the years. Excellent. Paddy says, I'm pretty sure the CRJ facility is in it. Excellent, yes. So there's a big Bombardier factory, like I say there, or warehouse, or whatever it is used for. Michael says, for the VAT value in the approach phase in the MCDU of a 320, is that meant to match your airspeed or ground speed when landing? The V-app is going to match that's the airspeed you want. There's a thing called ground speed mini in the Airbus where it will increase the V-app on the PFT. So if you're in managed speed, you should have a magenta speed target on final approach, which will be, if you're in calm wind, at V-app. And that is your target speed, not ground speed. Don't worry about the ground speed. Doc says, love going to Belfast City, cool sights in the approach, and you're in town in no time. Yeah, it is a smaller airport, but it is nice like that. Sian says, I've lived in Northern Ireland, been to oh yeah, we did that. Excellent, excellent. Oh, I'm actually up to date with the chats. That's great news. Oh no, I'm not. I'm way behind. Ed says, my wife has just said, oh, it's that lovely pilot with a soothing voice. I think you have a new subscriber. Fantastic. Well, thank you to Ed's wife for being so kind. I'm glad she enjoys it. Nicholas says, I really thought I'd be more familiar with this aircraft due to my passion with the Q400, but it's quite different, so can't wait for the Q400 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. What's going on there? Let me... Oh no, that's correct. Good. Yeah, this is different to the Q400. Remember, the Q400 was made by... Let me get those thrusters lined up. They seem to be out of sync. Oh, what is going on there? That is bizarre. Put them there. Let's just leave them inclined for a second. The Q400 made by de Havilland in Canada initially, DHC. So it's it is a slightly different design philosophy, but there are some things that carry across. Yep. Oh, I don't need that fixed anymore. Can I delete? Oh yeah, another thing I've learnt. Don't press clear. It's delete. It's a separate button. Delete. Yeah, clear doesn't work. Took me a while to figure that one out. I was pressing clear, desperately trying to delete waypoints, couldn't get it to work. Lawrence says, what's the deal with the sheepskin seat covers? Wow, that's hard to say. Are they provided by airlines at their discretion? Do most do it, or is it an individual pilot thing? Well, I can't speak for many airlines, but It's rare. They're more on long-haul aircraft than short-haul because it's considered that comfort's more of an issue on a long-haul aircraft, I suppose, or airliner manufacturers tend to include it. What I will say about that is, you know, you can spend 12 hours easily in a short-haul aircraft. So it's nice when you get you know, sometimes you get lucky and you'll find an airplane that has one, but they're not. They're definitely a custom option, I'm sure. And yeah, it's not like you can bring your own in. AC455 says, according to Wikipedia, the Ireland CRJ manufacturing site was sold in 2019. Yes, and do you know why? Does anyone know why? The CRJ is no longer in production. Yeah, as of February. What year was that? I did write it down, actually. I was going to talk about it more in my last video. The last one was produced on the 28th of February 2021. I think it was a CRJ 900. There's been 1,945 of these built. So Bombardier claim it's the most successful family of regional jets. We're in the 700 today, which is the first extension. They had the 200, 100 and 200 CRJ for a long time, and then they extended it to the 700, later 900 and 1000, of course. Very long aeroplanes. Travelographer says, how do you get into the cabin? I got it, but don't know how. I have it set up in the camera showcase, and then I'm in one of these fixed camera views, and then I have a button to toggle to that view. That's how I do it. Tillman says, so the way the plane flies the route shows that they use the Asoba autopilot. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if this is a custom autopilot or the Asoba one, I must confess. Tom D would like a tutorial on engine relight in the 320 in flight. I accidentally had an engine shut down due to fuel imbalance yesterday and couldn't figure out how to restart it. Interesting one. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Thanks for the suggestion. Oh, the first officer is awake. Not sure if she's going to say hello or not. There you go. You might hear a little bit of complaining. You're right. You want to say hello? Nope. Anyway, the first officer has arrived. That's my cat, for those of you wondering, if any of you haven't seen the streams before. She's usually quite noisy, but seems to be calmer these days. Oscar says, hey, nice stream as always. Does this mod include failures? I don't know. I haven't tried any actual system failures. If things are turned off or broken, you can see things come up. But yeah, I'm not sure if you can actually set up a failure. Nathaniel says, does this plane worth its price? It's up to you guys. It's you know what the price is. It's a it's a full-on payware aircraft. It's not in my experience unusually expensive for a commercial airliner. So the question would be, does it have the fidelity to justify its price? I haven't had it long enough to definitively say anything, but in my short time with it, I so far don't find myself thinking it's bad value by any means. In fact, I'm quite impressed with its like I say, the level of detail that it has. It's ridiculous. Like, everything works. It's really good. Oh, that's not good. We didn't copy that over, clearly. That's not going to help it. Ooh, do we risk doing that now? Oh, it can't. It knows. That's our fault. So we may not get the VNAV in the descent. I don't know if I can fix this now. Oh, maybe. How much fuel have we got? 3.7. I don't need the points. And cargo. How much cargo do we have? 300, 420 or 480. Oh, Okay, maybe it's going to work. Oh yeah, the transition altitude, you guys are right, that should have been 6,000. It won't matter now. But for the descent, we need to put in the transition level. Remember, this changes, it won't be up there. It'll probably be 70 or something similar. Oh. Once again. I do that every time because the Airbus doesn't need the F. There we go. We're going to use 3 degrees for the descent. Info. Oh, no, don't want to press that. Not sure what I'm doing there. Let's go back to flight plan. A nice, safe looking page. Captain says, have we tried a hold yet? Yeah, no, we haven't, I don't think. Let's make sure we don't miss our top of descent. Josh says, will you be doing a crosswind landing tutorial? Oh yeah, I keep meaning to do that. Very hard to do in simulators, crosswind landings, unless you have rudder pedals, but yeah. Ralph says the fidelity seems good. Yeah, I have to agree so far. I have considered flying in Australia my own way. Yeah, that's on the cards, definitely. Benny says, is Aerosoft planning on regularly updating it? I would hope so. I imagine as the source development kit, whatever it's called, SDK, does improve or change, then they'd be looking to do that and add some of the features they've talked about. But only if Aerosoft is still in the chat, they might be able to help you out with that. Oh yeah, you can adjust the brightness of this, which is quite handy. As you can see, it's a bit bright for what we're doing. There we go. So, the SimPilot says VNav option under MFD menu page shows top of descent if it's calculated. Let's see then. Now that will give our first clue how badly I messed this up. Right. VNav option on MFD menu. MFD menu. Next page. MFD add. MFD data. So top of descent. Not showing it. Anyway, you do get a top of descent if you do it right. Belfast City Tower is on. Runway 04. Thanks very much, Stephen Malcolm. Thank you. Yeah, there is definitely a way to see it. I've definitely seen it. Progress, maybe? Anyway, like I say, guys, there is a top of descent marker available, but it just, you know, it probably relies on being set up properly. not in a rush, just as you're getting going. MFD data. Destination, alternates, waypoints. It seems to have taken the data, but anyway, it's not in range yet. Okay, fair enough. We'll see what happens. But I mean, by McGee, I'd expect to be lower. So what's quite good is, it took me a while to learn this. Progress page. Sorry, the direct page does show you your flight path angle that you'll need at each of these points. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have any. Look, I'd be expecting it to show us some sort of vertical speed. Oh, I know why. Oh, we haven't put an arrival in. ILS-04. We were going to go via McGee, but that's not going to happen. Next page. Oh, I'm not sure which one of these is going to be then. Let me just check. Right. Let me just look at that. Okay, that's on the acceptable page. Let's bring up the charts. So we're coming in via Nevri. So I'm thinking Nevri, Absent. So actually, I'm going to get rid of McGee. Let me execute that. There we go, top of descent. 60 miles. Yeah, see, it's all here. And what's great is you can adjust it as you go. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect when you get going. It does work. Right, anyway, legs. I'm going from Dublin to Nevri. Let me show you the charts. See if this makes more sense for you guys. Okay, Nevri is there on the November 34 airway, and then Nevri, and I'm going to hope we're going to go Absent and in. That's going to be what I'm going to plan for, okay? Hence, Nevri, Absent, and then it's got McGee, which is obviously not happening. So press delete, not clear, delete McGee, and there's HBD 11. So let us execute that Then I can copy that into there, or I could have pressed delete. I think would have worked as well. And now it's concerned about the fuel. Not sure why, but we shall work that out shortly. I think we have plenty of fuel for what we're about to do. So let's move the format. Oh no, let's go to MFD data, zoom in a bit, and there is a plan view, I believe. That's weather. Right, here we go, and then we go next. No, we scroll. We do have a scroll. So I think that's after the go around, because look, it goes absent. Ah, and then there's a gap, HPD. Okay, I know why it's doing that. Okay, so let's go to clear, departure arrival, ILS04 via HPD 11. Should we do that one? It's not an option. Oh, we don't want to do that one. See, it's great because you can actually scroll through and see the plan. No, we don't do any of those. So we'll go with our HPD 13. Execute. Legs. Let's just join it up. That vector is going to be confusing for our planning. It could be an air traffic thing. So I can press delete, delete, execute. Right, let's scroll. Okay. No, still got that vector. How can I convince it to get rid of that? Legs. Delete. There we go. So now we should have an accurate vertical plan coming on. So, not to say you do that in real life. It depends on what the arrival is actually looking like. By the way, lots of information on here as well. Look, we've got our static air temperature, total air temperature there, true airspeed. Yeah, very good. So let's scroll back through. Oh, that's the range. Going to do this one. Just looking for the one I feels most familiar. You see V1 pointing over there. Top of descent coming up. And if I go to the direct INTC page, we can see the required vertical speed to meet these criteria. If we go to the legs, I can see the altitude it wants at each point. I'm not sure what sequence auto and inhibit does, but I'm imagining it means it will jump to the next point even if you're off the track, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, look at that. It's got us at 3,000 feet, 2,800 feet, 2,000 feet at HPD 6. If I bring up the chart, I can see that... I'm just looking at this, I won't bore you guys with it, but at 6.1 IHBD, which is the ILS, we need to be at 2,000 feet. So this is at a good vertical profile. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to follow it. Let's see how accurate it is for us. Some other things we need to do then for the descent. Let's set that landing elevation. It's actually only 13 feet. Oh, no, don't. You see the problem with scrolling and zooming. You'll be very careful where your mouse is when you go to zoom in this airplane because everything works. So, runway, 13 feet. So we can actually wind that down a little bit, not to -20. Let's do 3 clicks up. Oh, close enough. 20 feet, that'll do. So we got that set. We've done a performance. We need to set our approach speeds. So landing speeds are here. So I can say set all, and it sets them in the background, the VT and the V2GA. I'm not entirely sure how you would set those in the real airplane. Ah, there's half bank. Now I saw. Is that something I've done? Does anyone know what's going on? There's half bank. Let's click that. Don't want that. Otherwise it won't turn as sharply. I'm not sure when you'd use that. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. The Airbus does it automatically. When you know, throughout your flying career, you'll fly with people who've flown different aeroplanes, and you will have flown different airplanes. And the one thing you try not to do is constantly talk about your previous airplane. When you get onto a new airplane, you just talk about that airplane and enjoy it. Otherwise, people end up just constantly saying about their old one and how that used to work, which is no one enjoys that after a while. Let's update that heading bug, and yeah, we're going to set VREF when we're on approach. That would just change. If I do it now, you'll see. Well, I won't do it now, but it just sets this target speed. It doesn't do anything else clever. 136 knots. We'll do a flap 45 landing, short runway here. No auto brakes that I can find, so we're going to go with. Oh, there's a flat button. Oh, no, that turns off the GPWS, I imagine. We'll leave that on. Yeah, we're going to go with flat 45, manual brakes, and it's a short runway, guys. It's a really short runway, so we are going to be careful to. Let's bring up the charts. We're going to be careful to, yeah, come in 2,000 feet down the ILS. Now we know there's a bug with the ILS in this airplane. We'll talk about that in a second. But down we come. So by this 6 mile point, I want to have the speed back below 160 knots, gear down as soon as we pass over 6 miles inbound. We need to set it up, so it's the 1081-038. Now I think it does it automatically if we leave it alone, because I've seen it to hit. But if I go to radio. 1081 038. 1081. Do on both sides. The course we're going to set up here, aren't we, with the course later on. But again, I think it would do it on its own. I've managed to see it do it on its own anyway. But maybe I need to leave it in auto for that to work. You guys might know more than me on that. So let me know whether I should leave it as it is or fiddle with it. Robert says there's a glitch with trying to capture the ILS in FMS mode. You need to change the nav mode to lock for an ILS approach to work. Now that explains a lot. That explains a huge amount. I have done one approach of this where it captured the ILS absolutely fine. And I did that in ILS mode because I didn't know FMS mode would work. So I changed it over. By changing it over, guys, what we mean is you can change the nav source. And you see, I will complain. I know these switches are slightly different, but again, very similar placing. Localizer, there we go. It's not got any signal, so it's not happy, but there it is. So I'm going to go to that with the green bar and use that to intercept the ILS. But for now, we'll stay on FMS 1. So we'll try that out. Hopefully that will work. Brandon says, is there a 40k long haul planned there? It's not planned yet. I'll plan it when if we get to 40k. Anyway, we've sailed past the top of the descent while I've been talking. You can see that required vertical speed is now there. So let's do it. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Now, unlike a turboprop, this is a regional jet. So this will not be very forgiving if we get ourselves too high. Let's go to vertical speed. Thrust is coming back to idle. And if I go to direct INTC, the required vertical speed is ridiculous, 5,000. But let's just get ourselves down. 5,100. See how it goes. So let's start off with 3,000. 3,000 feet per minute up here should be possible. Mr. Chippy says, when you change the nav source, it changes to roll mode. Ah, okay, interesting. Interesting. Good spot. Nav. That was when I changed nav source. There it goes, yeah. It's funny it's not flashing or anything. Did it flash earlier? I'm sure it did. Anyway, nav. Thanks, guys. Very good. You see, it's all in here. It does work. Just takes time to learn and get used to, definitely. Thanks, guys. All you spotted everyone roll. Very good. Re-engage nav, re-engage nav. Who started the roll mode awareness timer? Carl says, I like the CRJ, but I'm not sure if because of the small screens it makes a good flight sim aeroplane because you are constantly having to zoom in on everything, including takeoff and landing. Yeah, it's tricky. It is tricky, but I don't know if it's any different to others. The screens are actually quite big. It's just, I think some of the writing is a bit small on the screens. Again, that's the actual aeroplane, not the sim. Poltergeist says, I can guess what V2 go around means, but what about the other ones? Yeah, good question. Matthew says, CRJ does it automatically at 31,600. Oh, interesting. Interesting. There you go. See, so much detail. SimPilot says, if you put VNav text to MFD by going to the MFD menu and selecting VNav by pressing the LS key, you'll see the ETA and distance to top of descent. Hello. Ah, I see. VNav. Yes, that's what we were supposed to do. Descent, 3,000. Yeah. You can see we're getting back on profile. The star's actually going above us now. So let's go back to .etc. So does it show us our required vertical speed? No. Anyway, the required vertical speed is now about 2,600. We're doing all right. I'm not a fan of descending in VS like over long periods because effectively to keep a speed we have to adjust the thrust. I don't know what the real CRJ pilots would do, whether they would go into speed mode and descend. It depends how good the speed mode is on this aeroplane. The Airbus is quite good at using thrust idle descents because it will adjust its speed, you know, within a margin and still, so it doesn't constantly chase it. There's that sun setting over there. Oh wow, look at that. I really don't know how they did this with the graphics in this game. Even the horizon sort of distortion around that sun, incredible. British F Geek says, I was told yesterday to descend in VS. Yeah, so the Dash 8 was the same. You would descend in VS. It did have a speed mode that we used for the first part of the climb, but in the descent we would use vertical speed the whole way down and then adjust the power if required. But you got pretty good at judging which vertical speed was needed to keep an idle descent. So actually, 2,600, I've got thrust levers closed. It's working out really nicely. So you get quite good at that when you know the airplane well. 3,000 is shown as the next constraint. Yep. So that works out. Anyway, let's finish up. We've got a checklist to do. So landing elevation set, fuel is checked, TCAS is set, radar. Oh yeah, radar, CAS, landing data, approach briefing. So we've done, I think, pretty much all of those to some extent anyway. So, oh, the cat's coming back just at the wrong moment. Right, let's put weather. Oh, obviously it turned on at some point in the past. And I can't see anything, but I can see WX up there. It's on TA only as well. Let's get the TCAS. Norm. Oh, yeah, went on below. There we go. Anyway. So much to learn here. What if I do this? On. No, don't know. Yeah, weather radar, tilt down. I think it does work a little bit. There you go, tilt -9, but I'd expect a -9 to see something by now, but obviously it's not working. Anyway, required vertical speed 22. Gonna help with that vertical speed. Let's zoom in a bit. There we go. Update that heading bug. Right. Anything else we need to do then? So we've done the radar. Okay, approach briefing. Next is going to be before landing, where we're going to need to arm those thrust reversers. We're going to go to flap 45 for landing. I'm just talking to myself here, guys, to remind myself of all the things that this airplane needed. We're going to tune the ILS and make sure we select ILS source and re-engage heading mode, something like that. No auto brakes. And I've got a great excuse for the landing here. This is a short runway. We're going to need to be... oh, TA's automatic tilt. Okay, good. I thought it was in TA mode. There we go. T-9. Aha. See, you guys. So if I push auto. Oh, I'm not sure. Ah, it's flashing at us because it thinks we're going down, but it doesn't know the transition level. It's time for me to bring up the 80s actually. Right, Belfast City, let's write it out. They are... Let's keep the PFD up, at least. Belfast City, information Bravo they are on now. Runway 04. Surface wind northerly at 9 knots, so that should be good for us to land with. Good visibility. Broken 900 feet though. Oof. Temperature +9. QNH 1031. That's it. Right. Just beautiful. You know, this is what when flying's at its best, no doubt, and this is what it looks like. I've never seen a simulator capture it so well, especially that Earth shadow. I always talk about that. That's just great. Louis says, now we have a replay tool. If anyone here like me annoyed by the way the wheels make contact with the ground when landing? Sometimes they're above the ground. Anyone found a fix? It could be the replay tool. I'm not sure about that. Weather radar is not modeled on the CRJ yet. Thank you. There we go. Right. What was the transition level? They should say that anyway. In the 80s? Oh, they don't. Anyway, I'm going to imagine it's 70. So let's go to... where was it written? No. VNAV. Oh, it's gone back to 180. Okay, let's put... I thought we did this. Anyway. Maybe I didn't execute it. Now it stops flashing, you see? See, it's all there. The flashing is there. It's very impressive. That's okay, we can leave that page up. Bradley says I saw some moon in South Africa. Fantastic. SimPilot says 6,000. Yeah, 6,000 is the transition altitude, so the level would probably be 70. Could be 65. It depends on what the QNH is. The transition level changes every day. That's why they have to tell you in the ATIS. ATC says, made it for the landing, I see. Yeah, you did indeed. Are you going to use the HUD for landing? No. No, I don't understand what the HUD is telling me in this aeroplane. Patrick says, even if you play on medium, hence my toaster, in regards to flight sim, it's so gorgeous in many ways. I love flying in different times of day. Exactly. Exactly. It is very good. And like even those roads out there just look fantastic. So do you guys want me to make it a bit more daylight or keep it as dusk? It's up to you. It's up to you. Right, we're coming down to 10,000 feet. We want to keep our descent going. How far have we got to go? We're about 30 miles out. So we need to keep that descent coming. Let's go down to an altitude then. We'll obviously check very carefully that that is a safe altitude. Let's go to 6,000 feet. Vertical speed. Oh, now that's a bit harder to do in the dark, I must admit. And let's get that speed back to 250. $250-ish. 2,000 feet per minute. Let's go to the direct page. It says we need, oh, we only need 1,500, so time to back off. It's probably programmed in so we can help slow us down. Everyone likes the lights. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Right, 10,000 feet. Let's get all the lights on outside then. I'm just going to have them all on. Now, hopefully there's nothing in the... hopefully everything I can see I need. Let's get rid of the floor lights. Don't need that. There's our little landing checklist. Last thing we need to do. So, look at that speed. That's our job. Now, we don't need to bring the ILS up in this airplane, but we will change the nav source. And here comes air traffic control. 135520. Our first officer has just left us, sadly. Just to make my life difficult. Okay. Scottish Shamrock 264 descending to 6,000 feet towards Belfast City. We are currently routing to Abson.
Shamrock 264 Scottish, Squawk Mod Charlie.
Squawk Mod Charlie, Shamrock 264. Uh-oh. Have I been doing something wrong?
Shamrock 2193.
Oh yes, that's in my VATSIM setup. Why did I turn that off? Anyway.
Right, heading 295,
Get that
Shamrock
working.
293.
Seatbelts, says Michael. Good one.
Easy 855 Scottish, standby.
Ding.
Roger, easy 855.
So yeah, so vertical speed.
Shamrock 264 Scottish, hello, fly heading 010 degrees, descend to altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1031.
Descend altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1031, heading 010. Shamrock 264. Right, there we go. Get that QNH in. Well, I'm going to just go with what the sim gives me, because the sim may not be up to date, but it's probably, well, it's definitely what we're going to want to have. So we'll just say we've done the right one there. We're doing 6,000 feet. We're descending to 6,000 feet. That's fine. Let's get that vertical speed up. Reduce that rate of descent. And they want heading 010. So we're going to center that heading bug. And then we're going to go heading 010 somewhere there. They haven't told us otherwise, so I'm just going to start slowing down.
Golf Lima Sierra, roger, radar control.
In fact, instead of fiddling around with that bug, I'm just going to say set VREF of 136. Now it's set it, and I'm just going to fly the speeds as I see fit. We're on headings now. Thank you very much, Matt, for your $10 donation. Really appreciate it, Matt. Very kind of you. Let's go to RS 1, and let's set that course. Thank you, Matt. Matt says, continue to love the channel. Hope you get back in the air soon. Thank you very much, Matt. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your donation. Very kind. Sorry, I'm a little busy, but yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you. Virtue2, thank you for your £5 donation. Really appreciate it. Just amazed. The complexity of the system is truly awesome. Thanks for the donation, Virtue2 and Matt Olsen. Very kind of you guys. Yeah, it is. It's all here. They're doing 355, Shamrock 264. Oh, bit of wind there.
EG855, you ready to copy clearance?
355, right. Speed's coming back. It's going to outcapture at 6,000, so let's add a bit of thrust now to be ready. I need a course of 038.
Cleared out for on the Lima 60 for your airway, squawk 7016, EG855.
So you see we're 18 miles out, so let's start slowing down.
Correct, clear runway 25.
So hopefully the ILS will actually work this way round. You can see we're getting high now, we need some descent.
Golf, Lima Sierra, come to Edinburgh Tower, 118.7, bye-bye.
Course over here.
187, yep.
Let's set this.
Shamrock 293, established ILS from 04.
Shamrock 2193.
Stayed into heading at least.
Tower 122.825, good day.
Oh, that's in Belfast City Tower on 122.825, Shamrock 293.
Shamrock 264, descent to altitude 3,000 feet.
Send 3,000 feet, Shamrock 264. Now this does happen at Belfast because of the way the airspace is set up.
North Shuttle 84 Golf Hotel, monitor.
So it's to 3,000 feet. Get a bit more flap out.
Unicom, North Shuttle 84 Golf Hotel, bye-bye.
Vertical speed.
Air Berlin,
Down we go.
Contact Copenhagen control.
Now that is hard in the dark, I'm not going to lie. 1,200 feet per minute. Speed's under control though, but we've gone through the ILS, so I assume he's going to bring us back around from the other side.
Air Berlin 7 in your mic. Good day. Bye-bye.
Here we go. Arm reversers, yep.
Shamrock 264, turn right, heading 115.
Riding 115, Shamrock 264.
EC255, radio check.
EC255.
Where are we going?
Readable 25.
Not sure what the plan is for us here. We have slowed right down. I mean, you wouldn't be this slow normally this far out, but I didn't know what his plan was for us there. Let's get that vertical speed back a little bit. We have plenty of room. Speed limit then for our current flaps 20.
Shamrock 264, descend to altitude 2,500 feet.
Send 2,500 feet, Shamrock 264. It's absolutely fine. We can go to 230 knots. They're really good flap limiting speeds on this airplane. I do like that. 2,500 feet. Right. I think we're getting there. Got to keep remembering the thrusts. Descending at 500 feet per minute. No, let's keep coming down. Let's not give ourselves a reason to have a problem. Let's do 1,000 feet per
264,
second.
turn left, heading 075, descend to altitude 2,000 feet, clear Dallas approach.
2,000 feet. Right, we have an approach push button. We're slightly above the glide slope, so I'm just going to increase that vertical speed, take that thrust back a bit. See the speed going all over the place, got to get so used to that. .600 feet per minute. We're 11 miles out, so we've got no problem on the speed. That's good news. Yeah, I'm going to arm those reversers now before I forget, because I'm going to use max reverse for this landing. Excuses for today: night landings and the CRJ and a short runway. Luck and glide slope have captured. Let's see what it does, because this is where we've had difficulty in the past. I'm going to start the flight recorder. Thank you very much for the reminder. Yeah, so if you're in the right nav source, it seems to do a really good job, which is exactly what I remember from the first time I did it. Right, heading bug's updated. It's intercepting. The wind is from the left, quite strong actually, 20 knots, so blowing us towards it. So that is a really nice intercept.
We are about to land. Please notice the cabin lights have been turned off, as this is a normal procedure for a nighttime landing.
And we'll soon see the runway in front of us. There
Shamrock
it is.
264, contact Belfast City, Tower 122.825,
122.825. Shamrock 264. Thanks. Bye-bye. Right, let's slow down. Belfast City, Shamrock 264, ILS 04, 8 miles.
Shamrock 264, good evening to you. Continue approach runway 04.
Continue approach, Shamrock 264.
903, stand 6 Alpha, ready push start.
Right, I don't want it to capture that
Jersey
altitude, so let's wind that up for the go-around altitude.
Cruise base south, QNH 101, 1031. Northwest South 1031.
In fact, let me just get that right. Yeah, 3,000 feet for this going altitude. Okay. Here we go then. There we go. Right, let's configure before I forget. Get down. Thank you very much, Eric, for your 100 knock donation. Really appreciate it, Eric. Eric says, seems like I just managed to catch the stream. Good luck on the landing. Thanks, Eric. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's get the last of the flap outs. Going to need lots of thrust here while this happens. So I pretty much end up at climb thrust every time I do this. It's doing a good job on that RLS though.
2193, if you could expedite the VK, please.
Oh, it's getting a bit confused here though. I'm going to put that nose down myself. I'm not entirely convinced that's working out.
Shamrock 264, expected clearance.
Oh, no, Shamrock 264. Ooh, now go around in this airplane, I don't know. Right, so that's working again. It seemed to get confused as I put the flap out. The autopilot is engaged, it says, so hopefully that'll work out. I did a little bit of overriding there. Just got to keep the thrust on. It needs about 60%. We've got a lot of flap out. Holding that's back. Good to see you. There's the runway up ahead. Now, as I said, guys, we just need to get it down in the touchdown zone safely. It's a short runway. I'm not worried about the vertical speed. We just need to flare and land. Low cockpit on this airplane. It sits very low to the ground, so it's for
Shamrock 2193, thank you for that. Continue on Alpha.
Sounds like they've made it. The Airbus is tooled, so I'm used to flaring a little bit higher, whereas this is going to be lower, so you end up flaring high in this airplane, basically.
Runway 04, surface wind 310 degrees, 9 knots.
Clear land 04, thank you, Shamrock 264. Right, we are cleared land. Landing checks then, let's just finish that one up. So, flight attendant, passenger signs, thrust reversers, gear, slats, flaps, are all in.
Yeah, he's just appeared. EC9 series, Belfast City, are you with me?
Let's try and get that view. Thank you very much for your donation. I'm sorry I won't get the name right, but thank you for your £10 donation. Really appreciate it. My girlfriend lives in Belfast and I feel so excited right now. It feels like I'm off to visit her. Thanks, 320. You're very welcome and thank you so much for your donation. Sorry, yeah, I will have to just focus on this now. Right, so we were stable at 1,000 feet. Yeah, the scenery is good, even at night. Not sure I'd have the real aircraft, all the lights quite like this. A little bit bright in the flight deck for my tastes. Bit turbulent here as that wind comes off. So it'll cross in from the left. Let's see how we can do this. Again, we just got to get it down safely. Oh, that is really turbulent. You can get some strong winds in Belfast. Autopilot off. Oh my goodness, look at that. So going to need a bit of right rudder. Not sure what's going on with the speed there. Let's just focus on getting it safely into the runway.
2193, thank you, and thanks for help expediting there.
Oh dear. So it is sensitive in pitch. I'm not entirely sure how sensitive the real CRJ is. I feel like this is overly done. Let's get ourselves in. Idle. Keep it coming down. There's the touchdown. Get those reversers out. And get on the brakes. Manual braking required here. See how low down we are. It's so hard to judge that. There we go. Right, speed's down. We are down. Windy evening here in Belfast. Yeah, I was surprised by that. To a stop. Forward idle on the reversers. Fantastic. Here we are. Welcome to Belfast City. Let's get on the backtrack so we don't cause any problems for anyone else around us. Yeah, it does. This airplane does give a sink rate warning. I've had that before, even when the sink rate was within 1,000 feet per minute. So I was a little surprised. I'm not sure if what the tolerances are set up for on this airplane, but there we go. But yeah, just got to get it down. That was a twitchy airplane on approach that, and I don't know whether the real CRJ is like that or how it is, but I don't know. But yeah, just get it down, get safely on the ground. You don't want to be messing around on this length of runway. Mark says that was tense. Yeah, that's night windy landing into Belfast is one of those things. That low-level turbulence that you get in Flight Simulator is really good fun. There's the Bombardier factory. We talked about it. Look at that. For once, I get to be proven right about something. I said that factory was there. So we brought the CRJ home. There's the Bombardier factory. That's what I wanted to do this flight today for. This is great. This is freeware scenery up on the flightsim.to. So yeah, thank you guys for coming along. We do have a replay, so we're going to go and park up and then we're going to have a replay, so look forward to that. very soon. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the stream, and I hope you've seen a little bit of what the CRJ is all about. It's been a huge learning experience for me, and I've learnt loads just from this stream about this add-on and how to use it. But as you can see...
Shamrock 264, welcome to Belfast. Continue on Alpha, parking stand number 6.
Alpha stand 6, Shamrock 264, thank you very much for your help tonight. Alpha stand 6. Okay, let's get clear. Alpha is obviously just the main taxiway. Stand 6 is sort of halfway down, so we'll do that properly. Can you hear the passengers clapping like in the olden days? No, I don't think they added that one in. Let's get ourselves around. Okay, so landing lights can come off. We'll just go with the taxi lights. The strobe lights can come off. The flaps are going to come up. But I'm not actually going to change the flaps. The reason is because of the replay we're doing. So we would start up the APU, so we can do that, I suppose. Power.
Then you can turn right direct to Peppo. That's Papa Echo Papa Oscar
There's
Delta.
the APU on the way.
On reaching, clear take
Toga says these streams always seem to go by way too fast because we're all having a good time. Yeah, that's great to hear. I've loved it. Thanks again, guys, for joining us today. The stand 8. I'm gonna, like I say, leaving the flaps out just for the replay reason. 7 and 6. We'll do the. Let's do the angle. In fact, one of those is 6A. 6A, yeah. So 6 is this one, which is good. So we'll do the straight in. Sorry, the angle in, which I quite like. Ollie Nuts says, lovely streams. Thanks, Ollie. Thanks to everyone for coming along. Yeah, I hope it's given you a bit of an idea of what the CRJ is all about. If anyone out there is wondering about picking it up or so on, or hasn't bought it yet and wants to know what it's about, hopefully this has made sense. Thank you all for your very kind donations. Sorry to those who did it on the approach. I just didn't get a chance, but that was quite a breezy one on final there. Right, let's disconnect from VATSIM. So I'm going to stop recording. Okay, so I've got the replay there. Disconnect from VATSIM. Right, guys. So we normally do our shutdown and so on, but I'm not going to do that today because I want to have a look and we'll see that rough and windy approach. So I'm going to press. Let me just think. Let's put these lights back on. You've got to be quite careful with the replay. This is the freeware replay one. Yeah, guys, if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button. It makes a big difference for the channel. We really appreciate it. And very kind of you guys to come along and watch. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see if the CRJ works for the replay. It's the first time I've tried it, I must confess. There we go. So I hit it as we were out there. I can pause. Terrain. There we go. Not sure what state the airplane will be in at this point. Looks like I've got gear. Yeah, that scenery is fantastic, isn't it? Rob Curtis, man, the CRJ is overwhelming. Still glad I bought it though, and excited to learn more about it. Great stream. Thank you very much. And yeah, there's lots to learn. Lots to learn with it. It is a different machine. It just isn't quite as we expect. Now, I don't think these trees are this tall on the approach into Belfast 04. We know that our thoughts on Microsoft Flight Simulator and its trees. But there we go. In we come then. Yeah, I didn't notice the sync rate going too outrageous. And this is there. I did exactly the problem. I flared. There's the touchdown. Flaring a bit too high. Still, worked out within the touchdown zone. It's tricky to get on the rudder in the crosswind. The reverses did come out. It just doesn't show up in the replay. There we go. That was us. It's great to have that replay. I do like it. 5 feet per minute that time. Oh, well, there you go, guys. Adam says, I'm afraid I have to go now. Keep up the brilliant work. Goodbye. Goodbye, Adam. Thanks for coming along. Thank you to all of you who watched it. And, yeah, thank you all for joining us today. It makes, gives me all the motivation for the videos and the channel is when you guys are here and we chat and enjoy it. It's been great fun. Thank you if the Aerosoft guys are still here. Thank you for coming along, and thank you for this sending over this add-on. So Aerosoft kindly provided this for me to use and review, which will be coming up in the future. Not sponsored or anything though. This is entirely my thoughts on it and so on. This is freeware scenery for Belfast. And yeah, what I'm going to do then, we have got a wing view coming up for you guys. So I think it's time we do that. It's great. I love this replay tool. Really nice to have. Let me put it somewhere out here. We're going to finish on our rock music. Thanks to the moderators. Thank you to those who kindly donated. Thank you to everyone just watching and joining the chat. Thank you for the likes. There's going to be more videos on the channel soon, more live streams coming very soon, and tutorials. And we'll probably get plenty more CRJ videos out of it as well. So what I'm going to do is jump into our wing view. You might hear that don't sync for a little while. Hopefully that will disappear. And I'm going to leave it here. We're going to have some nice outro music, and I'm going to say thanks so much. Have a good evening, and bye-bye.